What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. Crew is 100 meters. Stronger. 1 decisecond. 01 Hachinosu senior bartender, seeking flowers. Holy Land Mariajoy. In the splendid palace, an emergency meeting convened by Marshal Marine is currently in progress. Please tell everyone all the news we currently have in Marine. Sitting in seat C was a burly middle-aged man with a scar on his face. Those sharp eyes and a body full of scars are enough to represent that he has made penultimate contributions to Marine and world government. Yes, he is the current Marine Marshal named Clay. Don't be ridiculous, everyone. The original Marshal in front of Kong is blank. The author added it himself. If there is a mistake, just say it in the comment section. Okay, Marshal Clay. A handsome man in a black suit standing beside Clay nodded slightly. He is not affiliated with Marine, but belongs to the management of world government. The reason why he can interfere with Marine affairs is also arranged by world government. He opened the document in his hand, and what was written on it was the latest information that their Marine had at sea. According to the information we have, just the other day, on the pirate island of Hachinosu, word spread that the island has something to fulfill anyone's dreams. It didn't deserve the attention of our world government, or the Marine. However, according to the information Marine has, the big pirate, Lox D. Zebek, Charlotte Linlin, Edward Newgate, Shiki, etc., are all headed towards Hachinosu. This has to make our world government and Marine pay attention. Before they pose a greater threat, the world government means, destroy them. The above is the content of this emergency meeting. After the man in the black suit finished reading the information, he closed the folder, then stepped aside and listened quietly. Everyone, you heard it all, Marine Marshal Clay said calmly while drinking tea leisurely. In fact, according to Clay's personality, if the world government hadn't put pressure on them to eradicate all those threats to the world government, he wouldn't have held this emergency meeting at all. Lox, Charlotte Linlin, Edward Newgate, Shiki. If it's true according to the information, then the matter seems to be very serious. A certain Marine executive frowned, his eyes somewhat empty. Indeed, if they get together by mistake and become a new group, then the consequences will be unpredictable. Another Marine executive continued. Why do they have so many? We are worried that they will gather together and become a new group, so we can just destroy them before they gather together. That's right. Everyone nodded in agreement. At the same time, Clay stood up, took the Marine cloak on the table, put it on, and said solemnly, then, next, I will arrange the battle plan. Advertisement. Pirate Island Hachinosu. Because of that rumor, news spread that the island has the ability to realize anyone's dream, so at this moment, all kinds of pirates, bandits, and folk masters with their own dreams gathered on the island. On the Reading Tavern. This tavern is small in size, but it is packed with people. Inside the tavern, there was endless noise, shouts, and laughter. Dean writing, I didn't expect that we would meet again so soon. I really miss the wine you made. In a corner, a burly young man with a crescent-shaped white beard curving upward said with a smile on his face. Dean writing sat across from him, with solitary lines on both sides of his mouth, and a faint smile. Dean writing, he wasn't originally from this world. He is, from a blue planet. And here is a world called One Piece. And One Piece, in the world of Dean writing, was nothing more than an anime. Moreover, the timeline here is not the era where Luffy was. It wasn't Luo Jia's era either. It's the timeline of the Lox era that was earlier than Luo Jia. Of course, Dean writing has a system. It's just that when I first traveled through time, after reshaping a body and giving it a name, the system showed that it was being activated. Counting it now, Dean writing has been here for a little over a year now. As for the system, it is still showing that it is being activated. As a time traveler, Dean writing is no stranger to this burly man sitting opposite him. Yes, he is one of the famous 4 emperors in the future, Whitebeard, who was known as the strongest man in the world, named Edward Newgate. Edward, I'm afraid, you came to Hachinosu this time not for the wine I brewed, but for your dream. Dean writing picked up a glass of homemade wine and smiled faintly. O2 is the Lox pirates going to be established. Ask for flowers. When Dean writing said that, Whitebeard grinned. Gu la. You guy, you really pay attention to things outside. Whitebeard held a large glass in his hand, leaned back against the chair, and drank the glass of fine wine in his hand before slowly speaking. That's right, I did come here because of that rumor, but this is just one of them. The most important thing is that I still miss your fine wine. Speaking of which, the big reason why Dean writing can own a tavern is because of Whitebeard. Because, a year ago, Dean writing just came to this world and became a waiter in a tavern for his livelihood. In the previous world, he was a senior bartender and possessed a wealth of brewing skills. So, in his spare time, he would mix drinks by himself at the bar to pass the time. Because of this, Whitebeard came to this tavern by chance. At that time, Dean writing had just mixed the wine before he had time to try it. After Whitebeard smelled the aroma, he ordered the wine. And then, out of control, In the end, Whitebeard had just given Dean Riding the gold and silver treasures he had acquired and hadn't had time to send back home to open a tavern of his own. Dot 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 dot. Hearing what Whitebeard said, Dean Riding just smiled lightly. In fact, whether Whitebeard is craving his own concoction or coming for his dream, he doesn't care too much. So, Edward, have you found the thing that can fulfill your dream? Dean Riding asked casually. At this point, Whitebeard's eyes became serious. It's very possible, I believe you've noticed it too, these days, more and more well-known pirates have come here, I hope. I can find my dream home here. Seeing Whitebeard's earnest expression, Dean Riding fell silent. He clearly remembered that Whitebeard's biggest dream was to have a family. However, according to the progress of the original book, Whitebeard will later become a member of the Lox Pirates. However, according to his current tone, he seems to think that he and those who come to the island will become a group like a family. Although it is said that the Lox Pirates have not yet been established. Is it possible? Whitebeard in the original book also had hope for the Lox Pirates. It's just that, the later gradually became cold. Guessing, Dean Riding nodded. He thinks that's likely to be the case. However, Dean Riding has no intention of dousing Whitebeard's hopes. After all, many things are discovered by oneself, and it would be better to discuss them by oneself. So, I'm here to congratulate you in advance, Edward. Dean Riding smiled slightly, picked up the wine glass on the table, and made a toast to Whitebeard. Advertisement. Naturally, Whitebeard was not polite. After filling his glass, he raised it, touched it, and drank it down. Good wine, if only I knew you earlier, goo la la la. Whitebeard looked up to the sky and laughed, then seemed to remember something, then looked directly at Dean Riding and said. What about you? What's your dream? You can't spend your whole life brewing wine and mixing bars. If that's the case, then you've spent your life in vain, Dean Riding. Asked here, Dean Riding fell silent. Indeed, as Whitebeard said, if you do nothing in this life, it is indeed a waste of life. Of course, Dean Riding naturally took this into consideration. If the system has not been activated successfully, he just makes money, takes 5, 6, 7, 80, 90 wives, and then lives in seclusion in the mountains, living a chic and happy life. If the system activation is successful, he must leave a deep trace of his presence in this One Piece world. Then, there were 3,000 beauties in the harem, and finally lived in seclusion in the mountains, living a chic and happy life. Me, Dean Riding smiled wryly, and then continued, I accept the arrangement of fate. My fate is in my own hands. Whitebeard retorted. Dean Riding just grinned and didn't answer the topic. He stood up and replied, I don't have much wine left. I'll go get some more. Whitebeard nodded, but didn't say much. He doesn't want to interfere too much with other people's choices. Dot 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 dot. The sun sets, the afterglow of the setting sun. The reading tavern was closed. Under normal circumstances, at this point in time, the lively and noisy scene on the island during the day should gradually recede. Hachinosu, on the other hand, ushered in a climax and was very lively. On the island, those pirates from all over the world, mortal masters, all gathered in the square. Gia ha 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 ha. In midair, there was a burst of disdainful laughter. Everyone looked up, and at this moment, a tall man with long blonde hair like a lion's mane and 2 long knives hanging from his waist came into their eyes. O3 The duel between Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin for flowers. Yes, he is the big pirate in the future who is as famous as One Piece, Gordy Luogia, and Whitebeard, Edward Newgate, who is known as the strongest man in the future. At the same time, in the original book, in the future, the first escaped pirate in the history of Impel Down. Golden Lion Shiki. On Hachinosu, there is something that can realize everyone's dreams. This is nothing more than a scam. Golden Lion broke the rumors unceremoniously. Everyone heard it, and it was obvious that the anger was soaring at a speed visible to the naked eye. Their eyes all fell on the person who started the rumors. It was a tall man with one eye. Like Golden Lion, he is also a great pirate, named Latus, with a bounty of 580 million Baileys. Originally, Latus just planned to cheat some middle-level players to come to Hachinosu and accept them, so as to strengthen his own power. But he never expected that he would also attract many big pirates stronger than himself. La 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 la. Latus forced a laugh, and started his own brainwashing words, what are you talking about? Shiki, now, many powerful people have gathered in Hachinosu, and our strengths have all hit together. Isn't this what can be achieved? Anything anyone dreams of. As long as our forces are all aligned, we can earn uncountable amounts of money, and even dominate the world. Dominate the world. In a corner, a man who was also tall, wearing a certain black hat to cover his face, and wearing a black robe, his eyes flashed slightly. Yes, he is the captain of the Lox Pirates in the future. His full name is Lox D. Zebek, or Lox for short. He was the overlord of Luogia before he became famous, and he had great ambitions to become the king of the world. When Lox heard the words, dominate the world, the cells in his body began to activate. Yes, to dominate the world, this is his dream. Now, Hachinosu has gathered many powerful pirates, which is a very good opportunity for him. Dot 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 dot. Seeing that everyone's emotions were calmed down, Latus hurriedly struck while the iron was hot, and continued. Brothers, let's work together, let's do a big business, and then we will have countless money and even supreme power. Apparently, those who already have a part have been carried away by the high-pitched words. What, Lattice, don't you want to say next? You will be the leader. Golden Lion clasped his fists in front of his chest and said with a smirk. Once Lattice said yes, he would attack him without hesitation, defeat him, and then take over the position of leader. Golden Lion is happy to take over the bunch of subordinates sent up. Lattice, heart shuddered. If he had confidence in his own strength, he would naturally say so, but there are quite a few strong people gathered here. Specifically observed, the great pirate, Lox, has a bounty of 1.838 billion Baileys. Edward Newgate, with a bounty of 954 million Baileys. Charlotte Linlin, with a bounty of 812 million Baileys. Shaki, with a bounty of 768 million Baileys. And many more. With these alone, Lattice did not dare to act rashly. Advertisement. It doesn't matter who will be the leader. The important thing is that when we get together, we are brothers, brothers who fulfill our dreams together. Lattice shouted. After these words fell, the reactions of the others were not too big, but there was only one person who was secretly happy in his heart. Yes, that's Whitebeard. This is my dream. Whitebeard secretly sighed after listening to Lattice's words. It doesn't matter who is the leader, so I'll be more tactful. Let me be your leader. Jahahaha. Golden Lion laughed loudly. Hearing this, Lattice felt very uncomfortable inside, but he didn't dare to say much. He originally wanted to be a big brother, but unexpectedly, he recognized a big brother. However, just because Lattice didn't dare to say much, didn't mean that other people didn't dare to say much. The Golden Lion was the leader, and Charlotte Linlin was the first to be reluctant. Weo, accompanied by a soft drinking sound. A huge shock wave of sword energy rushed towards the Golden Lion at an extremely fast speed. After Golden Lion sensed the danger, he immediately reacted. I saw him quickly draw out the two long knives around his waist, and then defended. Bang! A powerful airflow centered on the Golden Lion and quickly spread in all directions. Drink. With the roar of the Golden Lion, it began to exert force, changing the trajectory of the oncoming giant sword energy shock wave. Eventually it hit a rock. With a loud noise, the rock was instantly shattered. Clatter clatter. The dense smoke and dust rose rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Some fragments of sand and gravel bounced out of the smoke and dust continuously. Golden Lion regained his composure, his eyes bursting with murderous intent. And at the same time, Charlotte Linlin jumped up from the crowd. The current Charlotte Linlin is not like in the original book, she is a fat woman. On the contrary, it is the opposite, and now has a hot body. I saw Charlotte Linlin holding a huge sword in her hand and slashing towards the Golden Lion with a smile on her face. I are qualified to be the leader here. Looking at Charlotte Linlin flying towards him, Golden Lion was slightly startled, then the corner of his mouth slightly raised, and he sneered, I know you, Charlotte Linlin. 04 Lox and the Golden Lion, seeking flowers. In an instant. Charlotte Linlin has arrived brandishing the giant sword in her hand. The weapons of both sides collided together. Immediately. A strong airflow began to spread in all directions. Crack. The huge impact shattered the ground where the Golden Lion was standing. Cracks are spreading rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Gia ha 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 ha. I am the man who has the qualifications to rule the world. The Golden Lion's determined eyes fixed on Charlotte Linlin. When Charlotte Linlin heard it, she subconsciously let out a disdainful smile. I, Linlin, will be the woman who becomes the king of the sea. Accompanied by the fall of the voice. Around the collision weapon, energy fluctuations like thunder and lightning began to flicker, and the whip whipped the ground, splashing thick smoke and dust. Just as Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion were about to launch a second attack. Suddenly, a cloud of black mist fell from the sky. After Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion sensed danger. Immediately leapt back, a black mist fell between them. Soon, a figure emerged. When everyone saw the face clearly, they couldn't help but startled. That is, wrong, can't be wrong, that is the big pirate with a reward of more than 1.8 billion, Lox D. Zebek. I didn't expect. This man also came here. Did you just find out now? I saw him this morning. Tisk tisk tisk. It seems that the next thing will become interesting. Ha 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 ha. At this time, Lox had no idea when he took off the hat that covered his face. He stood between the Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin, with a smug grin on his face. Your dreams, I, Lox, can satisfy you, how about it? Do you want to cooperate? Lox was the first to speak. Golden Lion wants to rule the world, Charlotte Linlin wants to be king of the sea, though, that's more or less the same goal as him. However, Lox doesn't care. He knows that a person's ability and energy are limited, and to become the hegemon of the world, he needs to have his own power. Of course, Lox is saying that now, but in fact, what Lox really thinks is just to use their abilities to become their own pawns and dominate the world. Gia ha 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 ha. After hearing what Lox said, Golden Lion laughed out loud. I didn't expect such a low-end scam to trick you, Lox. Lox didn't take it seriously, and said with a serious look, Shaki, you only saw the surface, please take a closer look, this new world's most potential pirates are gathered here, as long as we cooperate, money, power, fame, why worry? Advertisement. You all said, that rumored guy is not eligible to take the lead, so, am I, Lox, eligible? Everyone heard it, but kept silent. Locke's strength is naturally unquestionable. Most people still remember the news that shocked the world in the past. Golden Lion glanced at the people around him. Indeed, as Locke said, most of the pirates with the most potential in New World are here. Now, his reputation is neither small nor big, but Locke's reputation is resounding. If the pirates gathered here really become a group, under the leadership of Locke's, then don't think too much, in a short time, this will become a frightening existence. And he can also use this group to quietly build a reputation for himself, or maybe he can poach corners. Of course, Golden Lion is not the only one who has this idea, and so does Charlotte Linlin not far away. No wonder. In the original book, the relationship between the crew of the Locke's pirates is so bad, they often kill each other. It turned out that before boarding the ship, the crew had already had their own ghosts. At this moment, Golden Lion waved the two long knives in his hands, and said calmly, "That's the case, then I'll see if you can get my knives to agree." As soon as the words fell, Golden Lion jumped and attacked Locke's. Swish, swish, swish. Countless sword chi rushed towards Locke's. And Locke's jumped left and right, easily dodging the Golden Lion's sword attack. Drink. At this time, the Golden Lion was already approaching, brandishing two long knives and slashing heavily. At this moment, Locke's didn't dodge because he knew that he needed to defeat the man in front of him before he would agree to cooperate. Armament Hockey quickly covered his hands, and then punched out. Bang! A loud collision sounded. ... Time flies. It didn't take a while. The Golden Lion has already lost to Locke's. Lying in the big pit, Golden Lion felt a little uneasy. Tap tat tat. Locke slowly walked to the side of Golden Lion, stretched out his hand, and said with a wicked smile, "Come on, Shiki, let's work together." Golden Lion was silent for a while, then grinned. UB****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** relationship with Locks. Linlin, do you need a fight, too? Locks turned, looking at Charlotte Linlin. Promise him, Linlin, such an opportunity is rare. Beside Charlotte Linlin, there is a short and fat man with big lips and a beak-shaped nose, and he is Charlotte Linlin's earliest partner, Longbread .05 late system, get compensation, seeking flowers. No, just do as you said, I'm also quite interested in what you said, cooperation. Charlotte Linlin nodded in response. Ha 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 ha. After hearing what Charlotte Linlin said, Locks laughed again. He knew that as long as the thorns were dealt with, the rest would be easy. Locks glanced around, then opened his hands, and shouted loudly, come on, brothers, let us dominate the world together. This sentence seems to be nothing, but in fact it has a strong rendering effect, which makes some people who are already ambitious or all moved. He also yelled loudly. Whitebeard, standing in the crowd, hesitated. He also heard a lot about Locks. This man is cruel and ambitious. What he didn't know was whether he would get what he wanted after cooperating with him. Just as he was hesitating at this moment, a voice suddenly entered his ears. Edward, you are still hesitating. You came here, isn't it also to pursue your own dream? Hearing the sound, Whitebeard walked out of his own thoughts, and looked up slightly. At this moment, among the crowd, a diameter road had been opened at some point, and Locks was slowly approaching. Don't hesitate, Edward, I, Locks, will do what I say and will fulfill all of your dreams. While speaking, Locks had come to Whitebeard's side and held out his hand. The two pairs of deep pupils looked at each other, and it was clear that Whitebeard didn't believe Locks too much. However, after thinking about it, his own strength is not strong enough. His dream pursuit is very simple, but if he wants to protect it, he needs strong strength. He is so powerful that he alone is enough to turn any battle situation. Gu la la la. Then let me trust you. Whitebeard held out his hand and shook Locks's. From a distance, this picture seems to contain. It belongs to the alternation of two eras. Of course, Whitebeard has a little hope for Locks. Even if the subsequent development is not as he wished, then he will regard this journey of cooperation with Locks as the best experience. And on a rock not far away, Dean Riding was holding homemade fine wine, drinking while paying attention to the situation not far away. Have I witnessed the birth of the strongest pirate group? Advertisement. With a mutter, Dean Riding stood up slowly, patted the dust off his A*, and then stretched. Okay, it's getting late, it's time to go back and prepare dinner. After all, Dean Riding had just walked a few steps when suddenly, beside his ears, he heard the familiar yet unfamiliar mechanical sound. Ding. The system is activated successfully. Close black lens bracket. Ding. The summoning system is at your service. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for getting the gift package for beginners. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for getting the compensation package X1. Close black lens bracket. Following the system's voice, soon, a virtual attribute panel that only he could see popped up in front of him. Host. Dean Riding. Self-abilities. Physical skills assessment. Poor. Summoning points. 0. Get the method, complete the task, or drop from things immediately, or use devil fruit to exchange. Summoned characters. None. Inheritance. None. Whenever the summoned character's running in progress increases, the host will have a chance to inherit part of the character's abilities. Warehouse. Newbie Gift Pack X1, Compensation Gift Pack X1. Quest. Complete the first summon, 0/1. Looking at the rules and regulations on the property, Dean writing is easy to understand. After all, there are instructions in the back. As for the evaluation of his own physical skills, it was poor. Dean writing just smiled lightly. There is no way, although it has been more than a year since I traveled here, but at the beginning, food and clothing became a problem, so there is no time to exercise. When he got better later, he also did some simple gymnastics exercises, but most of the time he still spent on running the tavern. After a general understanding, Dean writing figured out the role. The people who are summoned, because it is the system that gives them the reshaped body. Therefore, it is not possible to exert all of its strength at once, and it is necessary for the summoned person to gradually adapt to the body, so as to achieve adaptation and improvement, exert one's peak strength, and even surpass the peak. Moreover, all the summoned ones, no matter they are demons or ghosts, are 100% loyal to the host. As for the novice gift pack and the compensation gift pack, let's go home and look at it, so as not to attract the attention of the people around. Dean writing muttered, then quickened his pace and hurried towards home. 06 Sins of Pride, Ace Kano asking for flowers. When he got home, Dean writing closed the doors and windows and drew the curtains. Sitting in the hall, looking at the attribute panel that appeared in front of him, he couldn't calm down for a long time. Finally, the system that has been silent for more than a year finally reappeared. Dean writing sighed with emotion. The system reappears, and Dean writing's life trajectory is destined to undergo earth-shaking changes. Open the novice gift package system. Ding. Command received. Opening. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for opening the novice gift package and getting the summoning card X1. Ding. Congratulations to host for opening the novice gift package and getting the Conqueror's Hockey. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for opening the novice gift package and obtaining the Demon Physique. This physique is born with strange power, strong body, extremely high defense power, and super high recovery ability. The voice accompanied by the system just fell. Suddenly. Hot steam began to rise from Dean writing's body. Pain like 1,000 cuts also followed. What? He subconsciously fell directly to the ground. The skin of the body began to peel off at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, as soon as it fell off, a new layer of skin grew out at the speed of the naked eye. The process lasted about 4 to 5 minutes. Dean writing stood up with slightly trembling legs. He didn't want to try the sour feeling just now. Although the transformation process was terrible, I can now clearly feel that the me just now is completely different from the me now, and the cells on the body are very active. Dean writing sighed, this devil physique is really a very good ability. In addition, with the acquisition of Conqueror's Hockey, as long as you put in some effort to practice, it is not difficult to make some achievements. The next thing is the compensation gift package. It's a year late. I hope this compensation gift package can get good things. Dean writing looked forward to it, and then quickly gave instructions to the system. Open the compensation package. Ding. The order has been received, and the compensation package is being opened. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Successfully opened. Congratulations to host for obtaining the direct inheritance card X1. Using it will directly obtain an ability on the summoned person, an upgraded version. Seeing this prompt from the system, Dean writing groped his chin. How to say, this so-called inheritance card can be good or bad. Well, that is, Dean writing can directly choose an ability of the summoned person, and it is an upgraded version. It's hard to say. If the first person summoned is someone without any strength, then this inheritance card will not be very useful. Of course, some people may say that it can be kept until other powerful people in the summoning Dao use it. But, if so, then, it will be greatly discounted. Now, Dean writing is when he needs his strength the most. Next, I hope that the first one who can summon a more powerful character will come out. Advertisement. After muttering, Dean writing quickly started calling. Use the summon card. Ding. The command has been received and is being summoned. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for successfully summoning and getting the Ace Kano from the 7 Deadly Sins. Single quote closing square bracket. Ace Kano. When Dean writing heard the name, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. Yes, Ace Kano is no stranger to him who used to be an anime fan. He is a very special person. In the original book, as one of the members of the Knights of the 7 Deadly Sins, the crime of arrogance. Why do you say he is special? This also needs to start with his magic power, sun. This ability is rather special. When there is no sun, that is night time. Ace Kano's body will become very thin, and his personality will also change accordingly, becoming lack of confidence, cowardice, and low self-esteem, thinking that he should not be born in this world. In the morning, the body will grow strong muscles, and it will no longer be cowardly and inferior, and the eyes will become arrogant, and its own strength will also usher in a big change. In the end, especially near noon, his ability will be at its strongest. Abbreviation. At night, being human, I'm sorry. Horizontal batch. During the day, in the sky and in the world, I am the only one. Sure enough, God still favors me. Dean writing murmured excitedly. Even before Ace Kano appeared, he already wanted to see what it would be like to inherit the ability of Ace Kano's upgraded version of Sun. Use the inheritance card. Ding. Please choose the object to use. Close black lens bracket. 1. Ace card. 2. Not currently available. Close black lens bracket. 1. Please choose ability. 1. Sun. 2. None yet. Close black lens bracket. Ace Kano has only one ability, but Dean Riding is satisfied with just one ability. After all, Dean Riding couldn't be more clear about the power of this ability. 1. Are you sure? Upgraded version ability introduction. In view of better practicability and elimination of side effects, this ability can be used at any time and is not affected by time. It will be activated by your own strength. What strength you can exert will depend on your ability strong. Using the solar power, the body will not change in any way. Note, the stronger the container of the body becomes, the full power can be exerted. The host of this ability can also choose to inherit the original version, as long as he needs to enter the command, inherit the original version. Close black lens bracket. Looking at the introduction that popped up, Dean Riding frowned slightly. Yes, anyone with a bit of brains will not inherit the original version. Otherwise, if you encounter danger at night, and the only partner is Ace Kano. Good guy, successfully wiped out the group. 07 I can't get along with this person, I have a pit to bring my friends together, seeking flowers. Sure, Dean Riding said firmly, with the fall of his voice. Soon, in front of him, a golden light spot was gradually forming at a speed visible to the naked eye. Finally turned into a small sun-like. Before Dean Riding could react, what effect does this little sun have? The little sun rushed directly into his body. And Dean Riding subconsciously took a step back. Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. Immediately afterwards, a warm current began to spread throughout his body. Ding! The upgraded version was successfully inherited. Close black lens bracket. Call. Dean Riding sighed softly. Originally thought it would be as painful as getting the demon physique before, but now it seems that he is thinking too much. Soon after the succession was completed, a ray of light shone again in front of Dean Riding. In the next second, a white human-shaped dummy appeared out of nowhere and appeared in front of Dean Riding's eyes. Accompanied by the injection of the previous light, the dummy slowly became alive, and the skin color was becoming normal at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few seconds, a thin man with short brown hair and very loose clothes and pants was reflected in Dean Riding's eyes. Apparently, he is the 7 deadly sins, the sin of pride of one of the members of the Knights, Ace Kano. Behind Ace Kano, there is also a heavy one-handed axe dropped. Yes, this one-handed axe is Ace Kano's weapon, the God Axe Rita. There was a click. There were several cracks on the floor that were visible to the naked eye. Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Dean Riding, I caused you such trouble just when I came here. Ace Kano had a submissive look. Even for a while, he didn't dare to look directly at Dean Riding. His performance even troubled Dean Riding, thanks to the fact that he didn't inherit the original magic sun. Otherwise, at night, the appointment would be the same as Ace Kano. Then during the day, one is more arrogant than the other. However, Dean Riding also noticed that Ace Kano called out his name as soon as he came. Presumably the system had sent him certain messages when he came. This is even better, and it saves me from having to introduce myself over and over again. Ace Kano, it shouldn't be like this. Dean Riding stroked his head, speechless. I'll take it off right away. Ace Kano quickly turned around, reaching out to pick up Rita the Divine Axe, but no matter how hard he tried, Rita the Divine Axe remained indifferent. Stay where? Dean Riding confessed, originally wanted to bring out some wine to celebrate the arrival of his new partner. But after a closer look, I found that the wine I brought back from the tavern had been drunk by myself. Let's go. After Dean Riding finished speaking, he walked in the direction of the gate. Where to? Mr. Dean Riding. The arrival of a new friend has to be celebrated, doesn't it? Advertisement. With a sound of click, the door has been opened by Dean Riding. Ace Kano followed behind, but he didn't say much. The bright moon is in the sky, and the stars are shining brightly. Originally crowded street at night. Now all I can see are a few scattered people. Without further ado, Dean Riding knew why. Most of the people went to join in the fun. Dean Riding's home was not far from the tavern. So, not long after, Dean Riding and Ace Kano came to the tavern. Soon, Dean Riding stood on the bar counter and skillfully mixed the wine. After a long time, the two sat at a table. Cheers. The world welcomes you, Ace Kano. Dean Riding raised his glass with some enthusiasm. The arrival of Ace Kano can be regarded as allowing him to have a man in this world who is worthy of his back. Mr. Dean Riding, please take care of me in the future. Ace Kano also raised his glass, but his expression was very unnatural. Dean Riding frowned and thought to himself, great system, you are so omnipotent, why can't you remove these bad characters of Ace Kano? But after thinking about it, it seems that there is no need for this. Because once he did that, Dean Riding felt that what he summoned was just a shell. Just as Dean Riding thought so, suddenly, the door of the tavern was pushed open. Sorry, it's closed, now. Before the next words could be said, Dean Riding turned his head, but what caught his eyes was a familiar figure. Gu la la la. I'm sorry, I'm not here to buy alcohol, I'm here to drink alcohol. Dean Riding, do you think you put something in your alcohol? I feel like I'm addicted, drink other alcohol and cough. Edward. Dean Riding looked at Whitebeard with a look of surprise in his eyes. At this moment, Locks held a large banquet in today's duel. Logically speaking, shouldn't Whitebeard be there? Why did you come to your own tavern? Okay, you kid, you actually secretly hid and drank. Whitebeard was also rude. When he came to the tavern, he felt as if he had returned home. As soon as he sat down, he poured the fine wine that Dean Riding had just made into a glass, and took a sip. Then, a satisfied expression bloomed on his face. Sure enough, this wine is still delicious. Who is this? Whitebeard said, looking at Ace Kano who was at the side. The new recruits from the tavern. Shouldn't you drink and celebrate with them? Why did you come to my place? Dean Riding asked back. Dean Riding, I feel like I made a bad decision. When Whitebeard said this, the expression on his face suddenly became serious. Working with Locks? Dean Riding asked casually. La. Sure enough, you still understand me. Just now, the Locks pirates were established. How about it, Dean Riding, do you want to come and accompany me? Dean Riding rolled his eyes, and teased angrily. Okay, Edward, you can't get along with this friend, there are tricks to pull friends down. Oh wait Marine they are coming asking for flowers. Whitebeard couldn't help laughing when he heard Dean Riding say that. Stupid, don't say that, Dean Riding is the hardest thing for me to find a guy to talk to, how can I drag you into the tiger's den? Having said that, Whitebeard looked a little serious, and then continued to speak. Seriously, I heard you were introduced when I knew that Locke's purpose was to recruit people with a little means from the islands on board. What? Obviously, after Dean Riding heard what Whitebeard said, he was a little uneasy. How can I be so good that someone would recommend me to Locks? Did you hear me wrong? I don't know how to fight and kill. Why recommend me? Could it be that you want me to come on board and make bars for you? You are right. Whitebeard drank another glass and nodded slightly. Quote. Dean Riding was a little speechless, but with the character of that guy from Locks, someone actually introduced him, and he was really good at bartending, so it was very likely that he would pass by himself. Oh, I get it. It's no accident that you came to me tonight, Locks sent you. Dean Riding asked, and he just said, at this time, he should be celebrating with Locks and his gang, why did he come here? It is indeed a good reason. Whitebeard has nothing to hide from Dean Riding. So, what are you going to do, Edward? La. What else can I do? Didn't I tell you just now? I don't want you on board. Locks is not a boat for you to stay on. Dean Riding, you must not see his appearance. In fact, the inside is an abyss. Whitebeard ordered. In fact, without Whitebeard's instructions, Dean Riding is more aware of the evils of the Locks pirates than Whitebeard, but he would not be willing to board that ship if given the opportunity to choose. Then how do you plan to report back? Dean Riding continued to ask. You don't have to worry about it. I told Locks, you are my friend, you just want to live a simple life, and he won't make things difficult for you. Because, the bartender can find many, but I, who ate shock fruit, only have one. Ha. Dean Riding laughed heartily. So, do I owe you a favor, Edward? Of course, but I don't expect you to pay it back. Just bring me a few barrels of fine wine and leave. FKU, think beautifully. D, what are you talking about, you can't bear it. Ask knowingly. D, why are you so stingy? You didn't go there generously either. I don't care, I'm going to take a few big buckets away. Originally, I wanted to take everything away, but I just took a few big buckets away because I regarded you as a close friend. Advertisement. Non-continent chiefs are not as black as you, Edward. Non-continent chief, what is that? At the same time, Locks is naturally very lively. The pirate group has just been established. In addition to preparing the pirate flag, Locks also needs to select capable people as cadres. As for the rules of the ship, Locks is very relaxed. Everything on the ship is based on strength, and the cadres are not fixed. Those who were not selected for the first time, but who think they have strength, are fully challenged. However, there is a price to pay for failure. The bright moon is in the sky, and the stars are shining brightly. The sea is sparkling. Suddenly, at this moment, ripples began to ripple on the surface of the sea. As the ripples get bigger, take a closer look. In the waters not far from Hachinosu, dozens of warships are sailing rapidly. Yes, Marine, here they come. According to the report of our intelligence personnel in Hachinosu, things really happened as Marshal Clay expected, and a group of Locks, Edward Newgate, Charlotte Linlin, Shaki and others was born, named Locks Sea Thieves. Following the intelligence officer's report, Marine Admiral Bounier frowned slightly, and said coldly, is it headed by Locks? Damn, it really brought all these tricky guys together, is always one step too late. Boonal Admiral, Marshal Clay issued the latest order to eliminate all the pirates led by Locks at all costs. The intelligence officer continued. At any cost, is it possible that the other innocent residents on the island are also counted? After hearing the order, Bounier's face became more serious. Yes, the intelligence officer spoke. At this moment, a kind of self-doubt arose in Bounier's mind. Is everything done by the world government really just? Is what Marine is doing really just? The justice he was looking forward to was not the one in front of him. This is completely different from the justice he expected, and it is getting further and further away. Bounier Admiral, please draw up a battle plan. Marine Vice Admiral suddenly said. Call. Hasn't Marshal Clay already drawn up the battle plan? Although there are some deviations in the process, the result is the same. In order to prevent these hateful guys from getting out of here alive, it is okay to sacrifice some insignificant people. The latter words were obviously the words of Bunye himself to comfort himself. Pass down the order, everyone is ready to fight. Yes, comma. On another warship. Garp, take it easy, this time, we're up against that guy Locks. On the deck of the ship, watching Garp in high spirits, Sengoku said with some uneasiness in his heart. Oh 9 Whitebeard. You guy, you can also know about S*** X asking for flowers. Facing Sengoku's words, Garp didn't take it seriously, he raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and said with enthusiasm on his face. It's because I'm Locks that I'm full of energy and excited. You be *************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************It's because I'm Locks that I'm something. At this moment, the crane on the other side made a sound. Sengoku, it's not the first day you know Garp, so, you know, no matter how much you say, he won't listen. Call. Sengoku stroked his head lightly. Indeed, as Crane said, once this fellow Garp decides, 10 horses will not be able to pull him back. Forget it up to you. Anyway, what should be reminded has already reminded you. If you suffer a loss at that time, you can only blame yourself, Garp. Sengoku waved his hand and said earnestly. Garp laughed loudly, and retorted. Sengoku, I'm excited, but I'm not irrational. Although I haven't fought against that Locks guy before, I can still remember what happened to him, but this time we're following that Bunye guy, and Locks shouldn't be able to match him. But, having said that, Garp let out a sinister smile and continued, but I'll fight for it. As soon as the words fell, suddenly, a loud voice sounded. Fight for your size, Garp, you're always so reckless, it'll cost you your life. Everyone turned their heads when they heard the sound, and walking towards them was a man with a strong figure and a mohawk hairstyle. Yes, he is the future commander of the world government in the original book, Kong. Except, his current position is Marine Vice Admiral. Kong walked to the front with slow steps, and then said seriously, this operation, we don't need to confront each other head on. What we have to do, is to clean up the miscellaneous soldiers. When it's time to act, the three of you act with me. Yes, Sengoku nodded to Suru. Garp pursed his lips and nodded, but he had his own thoughts in his heart. When he landed on the island, he would look for opportunities to move freely. As for the moment on the island of Hachinosu, neither Locks and others, nor other people on the island know about Marine's attack. Most of the people in Locks were still indulging in the joy of celebration, and they never expected that Marine would make a surprise attack at this time. Dean Riding was chatting and laughing with Whitebeard in the tavern too. We should be leaving tomorrow, I don't know, when will we meet next time? Whitebeard was talking about his itinerary with Dean Riding while drinking. When we meet next time, we'll take care of the drinks. Dean Riding said with a smile, packing the tickets. Whitebeard smiled and said nothing, staying here, chatting with Dean Riding, always made him feel very relaxed. By the way, if any pirates come to make trouble in the future, you can report my name. Dean Riding nodded, maybe before, this was still very useful to him, but now, everything is different. He awakened the system, he got the demon physique, he got the conqueror's haki, and the son that inherited Ace Kano. Single quote. Advertisement. It's so, then I'll give you a big gift in return. When you set sail tomorrow, I'll go and set up some fireworks. I wish you all the best. Dean Riding said with a smile. However, just as he finished speaking, there was a sudden explosion outside. Boom. When the three of them heard it, you looked at me, I looked at you, and then laughed. Is it a bit early to let it go? I haven't left yet. Gu la la la. And Dean Riding also joked on the occasion. Well, it's really a bit early. Although everyone heard the movement, they all thought it was from Locks, so they didn't take it seriously. Call out. Above the sky, there was a sound of tearing the air. Whitebeard and Dean Riding's own observation haki instantly sensed the danger. Whitebeard was about to reach out to grab Dean Riding and Ace Kano, but unexpectedly, Dean Riding spoke out first. Get out of the way. Whitebeard was slightly taken aback, but without thinking too much, he jumped back immediately. Dean Riding and Ace Kano dodged to the other side. In the next second, at the place where they were drinking just now, a pitch-black cannonball fell and exploded instantly. Boom. Inside the tavern, there was a mess in an instant, a raging fire ignited, billowing thick smoke rushed towards the tavern and spread in all directions. Dean Riding, holding Kong Yunchi in his hand, Whitebeard yelled in the direction of the smoke. Don't worry, I'm not dead. Inside the smoke, Dean Riding's voice came. Damn, what's going on here? Is it Locks? No, it's not him. Just as Whitebeard was thinking about this, there was another sound of tearing the air above the sky. Shish. He looked up slightly, and at this moment, dense shells, like a rainstorm, were falling. This formation. Damn it, it should be Marine coming. Shua shua. Dean Riding leapt to Whitebeard's side. Marine. Mentioning Marine, Dean Riding instantly understood, probably, the target of Marine's trip this time is Locks. But what confuses him is that your target is Locks, G-bomb Locks, what the hell are you bombing me? And what Dean Riding didn't realize was that Whitebeard was looking at him strangely. Dean Riding, D, can also observation haki. 10 me. It's the sun, ask for flowers, please collect. Dean Riding was taken aback by Whitebeard's sudden question, then glanced at him from the corner of his eye, and said softly. Now is not the time to talk about this. Indeed. Whitebeard didn't continue to ask, only to see Kong Yunqi's hand he was holding slightly exerted force, and Kong Yunqi stood on the ground. Immediately afterwards, a transparent halo instantly wrapped his fist, and Dean Riding, who was a traverser, could tell at a glance that Whitebeard was about to activate his Devil Fruit. Shock Fruit ability. Shock Fruit, after the eater eats it, can cause the sky, the earth, the atmosphere and the ocean to vibrate at will, and has extremely strong physical destructive power. In the original book, it is also called, The Power to Destroy the World, by Sengoku of the Buddha. At this moment, I saw Whitebeard swinging his fist, and the Shock Fruit ability was activated accordingly. An invisible force rushed towards the flying shells. In an instant, the shells falling from the sky were detonated instantly. Boom, boom. The billowing black smoke made the original night even darker, and you couldn't see your fingers. Of course, what Whitebeard prevented from falling was only a small part of this area, and the other areas were not so lucky. The sound of the explosion was continuous, and the flames produced by the explosion were particularly conspicuous in this dark night. Just when Dean Riding and others wanted to breathe a sigh of relief, Marine's second round of intensive shells struck again. Shish. Damn it. It's coming again. Whitebeard cursed, although he said that the shells had no damage to him at all, but he had to defend himself. Just when Whitebeard was about to continue to activate the Devil Fruit ability, Dean Riding spoke. Let me try it. Whitebeard took a slightly surprised look at Dean Riding, from the day they met, to today. He used to think that Dean Riding was just an ordinary guy without any force. But, from the reaction of the shell just now, Whitebeard had an answer in his mind. That is, this guy, not easy. Whitebeard originally wanted to find out about Dean Riding's background just now, but when the timing was wrong, now, Dean Riding took the initiative to show his strength, how could he refuse? You be asterisk 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 D, you're hiding deep enough, I always thought you were just an ordinary person. Dean Riding walked forward with a wry smile, and then explained, don't get me wrong, I'm really an ordinary person. Of course, the reason why Dean Riding actively wants to participate this time is because he wants to test the ability of his upgraded version of Sun. He slowly raised his hand, and in an instant, a fireball like the sun instantly lit up the darkness. Immediately afterwards, the fireball was expanding at a speed visible to the naked eye. When it reached a certain size, with a slight push from Dean Riding, the hot fireball rushed towards the sky in an instant. The huge fireball directly swallowed most of the shells in this area without any effort, and at the same time, the dazzling fire, like the sun, directly illuminated most of the island. Advertisement. Then, what is that? A member of the Locks Pirates asked anxiously. Like a fireball, another member responded. Fireball. The size of your fireball, can it light up half the island? That's right, it's more like a sun than a fireball. 2. The sun. Whose Devil Fruit ability is that? No, I don't know. I seem to remember that in the Locks Pirates, they didn't use the ability similar to the sun. I seem to remember it too. No. It shouldn't be. On the island, anyone who is capable has joined the Locks Pirates. Could it be that there are still some masters on the island? In the front, many crew members were discussing, while Locks in the rear also looked puzzled. Just as they were discussing at this time, the huge fireball fell down in the sea area not far from where Locks was after drawing a gorgeous strand from the sky. In an instant, there was a violent explosion on the sea. Sea water evaporates. The waves also soared into the sky. The huge thermal air flow spreads in all directions with a salty taste. This kind of fireball has such power. Indeed, if it hits me, I'm guessing I'll be reduced to ashes. Who is it? Whose Devil Fruit ability is this? No, I don't know. According to my observation, it seems that in the Locks Pirates, the Devil Fruit that no one eats is related to fire. And Locks, who watched the fireball fall into the sea, was not calm anymore, with an excited smile on his face. It seems, there are other strong people on the island that I didn't invite. Indeed, the one who can make a fireball have such power is definitely not an idle person. Golden Lion stood beside Locks and expressed his opinion. If this person can also join our Locks pirate group, then our pirate group will have a good combat power. Longbread also said with a smile. In fact, at this moment, everyone also has their own little thoughts. Still, it's nice to have a unified goal of joining the Locks Pirates. But, whether it's Shiki, or Charlotte Linlin, or someone else who has just been promoted to cadre, all they think in their hearts is to invite this person to stand on their side after he joins the Locks Pirates. Captain, leave this matter to me. I'll go and see who made the fireball. Golden Lion volunteered to find the owner of the fireball. Shiki, you guys are really quick. Charlotte Linlin said in a strange way, but she didn't explain her intention. Go, Shiki, when you find him, make sure to let him join us. Locks ordered. Don't worry, I will definitely finish this matter beautifully. Jayahahaha. With the sound of laughter, the Golden Lion flew into the sky, flying rapidly towards the trajectory that the fireball had just crossed. 11 report, that Garp guy is cheating again, asking for flowers. Dean Riding over there. Looking at his masterpiece, Dean Riding nodded in satisfaction. The power was far stronger than he expected. It is indeed an upgraded version of Sun. Apart from some bad shortcomings, its own power has also improved a lot. UB asterisk 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 D, you're hiding too deeply. If it wasn't for the unexpected situation today, I wouldn't know you have such abilities. Whitebeard put his arm around Dean Riding's shoulder and smiled. Dean Riding looked helpless, and it wasn't that he deliberately concealed it, but that he had acquired these abilities not long ago, and he hadn't even had time to try them yet. Edward, it's really not me hiding. I believe you ghost, UB asterisk 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 D, you must still have a lot of things to hide from me, but, having said that, this devil fruit you ate is not simple, it should not be an ordinary flame, after all, an ordinary flame it doesn't have that power. Many years ago, when I went to sea, I also encountered a devil fruit that was related to fire, but if you compare it, yours, is far better than him. Quote. Quote. Dean Riding was a little speechless and didn't know how to answer Whitebeard at all, because a lie needs countless lies to cover up. You have such strength, how about going to the Locks Pirates with me? Whitebeard suddenly changed the subject and spoke. Dean Riding frowned slightly, he knew best what this guy Whitebeard was up to. The Locks Pirates are not compatible with him. If Dean Riding goes, he can drink the fine wine he concocts every day. When he is bored, he can talk to him again. The reason why he didn't want Dean Riding to go was that Whitebeard thought he was just an ordinary person. It's not kind, Edward, you're always trying to make me jump into a hole. I don't want to have a caregiver in the future. Take care of a ghost, you want to prostitute me for nothing. I don't like hearing that from you, Dean Riding. I am telling the truth. Gu la la la. I really didn't realize that you were very stingy before, Dean Riding. Just as Whitebeard and Dean Riding were teasing each other, suddenly, a loud voice sounded in the sky. Edward, what are you doing here? Hearing the sound, everyone's eyes moved up slightly. Although Dean Riding and Whitebeard could see a rough shadow in the dark night, they could tell who it was from the sound. Shiki, why are you here? Didn't Marine's bastards suddenly attack us? Where are you going? Talking to Golden Lion, Whitebeard's tone became a little bit colder. Golden Lion clasped his fists on his chest and said with disdain, what? Do I need to report to you where I am going? Anyway, the guy next to you is that very talented bartender, right? The reason why Golden Lion didn't say his purpose was obviously that he wanted to be the first to find the guy who released the fireball, and then let him stand on his side. However, what he never expected was that the owner of the fireball he wanted to find was standing beside Whitebeard at this moment. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't seem to be your business. Shiki, Whitebeard also resented. Advertisement. Gia ha 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 ha. Golden Lion didn't care, and after a big laugh, he said, just to remind you, don't waste time on this kind of nobody. After saying that, Golden Lion didn't stay any longer, and continued to fly forward. When the Golden Lion left, Whitebeard patted Dean Riding on the shoulder, and said earnestly, don't take it too seriously. Huh, what? Dean Riding looked at Whitebeard in surprise. Whitebeard's eyes flickered slightly, then he laughed. Okay, I was too worried. How could that kind of trash talk affect you? Quote. Quote. Indeed, Dean Riding didn't take Golden Lion's trash talk to heart at all. Since he saw Golden Lion appearing here just now, what he has been thinking is that Locks is going to confront Marine head on. Where are you going? Meanwhile, Marine's warship has docked. A large number of Marines held long guns and long knives, and under the leadership of their officers, they rushed down one after another, rushing towards the location where Locks was located in the intelligence. Damn, on a certain warship, there was a roar suddenly. Garp is AB asterisk 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 D, he is really messing around. I told him a lot of precautions, but what about that guy? He went in with his left ear and out with his right ear. As soon as he touched the shore, before I could even react, that guy ran away. Already. Kong cursed. Sengoku and Suru in front of him are also in the left ear and out of the right ear at this moment. They are very familiar with this old friend of theirs. Kong, this is not the first time you've seen Garp, how messy that guy is, you just now know. Sengoku complained. I'm still careless. In the past, it was fine for him to mess around during his missions, but I think that in today's special situation, he should be able to listen to it. Before Kong could finish his sentence, Crane on the side retorted casually. Kong, after all, you underestimated that guy Garp's madness. Snapped. Kong caressed his forehead, if he hadn't seen Garp's potential, he would have left him alone. Forget it, it's useless to talk too much now. Sengoku, Suru, you two follow, don't let him go directly to stab Locks. Kong ordered. Yes. Watching Sengoku and Crane leave, Kong sighed deeply. Garp, you be asterisk 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 D, you were sent by the heavens to torture me, right? 12 Garp. Stop pretending, you are from the Locks group, seeking flowers. Although he said so, Kong still took good care of Garp. There is no other reason than that since he joined Marine, he has always been the best. Moreover, there were no twists and turns, and the journey was smooth, which also caused Garp to be careless and straightforward. Sometimes, Garp just nodded and said that he understood the plan that had just been completed, but as a result, as soon as it was executed, good guy, it was completely forgotten. But, it's true. In the original book, Garp's grandson Luffy also has this character. This is probably the so-called If there is a father, there must be a grandson. Garp, Garp, you always have to suffer a big loss before you will be cautious in doing things in the future, don't be reckless. Kong sighed heavily. Immediately, they disembarked with other marine soldiers, ready to start fighting with the Lock's pirates. After the marine bombardment ended, Whitebeard left Dean Riding's side. After all, Dean Riding is not a pirate, nor is it a criminal gang, and Marine will not look for his troubles, so, Whitebeard thinks, there is no need to stay there. Even with the shelling at Marine not over, Whitebeard didn't see much need to be there. The fireball released by Dean Riding just now is enough to prove that his strength is not weak. Mr. Dean Riding, what do we do next? In the chaotic tavern, Ace Kano looked at Dean Riding who was packing up the unbroken wine and asked. Let's adjust accordingly. Anyway, we have nothing to do. We just need to wait quietly for the battle between Marine and Locks to end, and the island will be quiet. As he spoke, Dean Riding took the fine wine in his hand, carefully put it into the box, straightened his waist, and his eyes sank slightly. As for the future plans, let's think about it. As for the battle between Marine and Locks, Dean Riding didn't want to interfere, because it wouldn't do him any good. As for Whitebeard, let alone worry about him, if he loses like this, then there won't be any strongest man in the world in the future. Ace Kano nodded, and then said apologetically, Mr. Dean Riding, I'm really sorry, I didn't help you a little bit just now, it's really embarrassing to you, and I wasted your chance to give me a new life. Clatter. Dean Riding opened a bottle of fine wine, threw it towards Ace Kano, then opened another bottle himself, and said slowly, that's not true, your presence has helped me a lot. Quote. While speaking, Dean Riding picked up a case of fine wine with the other hand, and walked towards the door. Let's go. Where are you going? Of course it's to go to the theater, after all, this will be a very exciting battle. I'd better forget it, I'm afraid that not only I won't be able to help you, but I will also drag you down. Dean Riding hesitated for a few seconds, what Ace Kano said was not unreasonable, he really couldn't be of much help in the dark night. Okay. Then go home and stay. Be careful yourself. Don't worry, I'll just hide in the distance and watch the show, and I won't get involved. Advertisement. After leaving these words, Dean Riding took a case of wine and slowly disappeared from Ace Kano's sight. After a long time, on the mountainside not too far from the Locks battle, Dean Riding was sitting on a rock, holding a telescope in one hand and a glass of wine in the other, watching the battle scene in front of him with great interest. Boom, boom. At this moment, except for Shiki who is not present in the Locks pirates, everyone else is in a heated confrontation with Marine. Although there are many unfamiliar faces in those Marines, but, being able to fight with Locks back and forth, it is estimated that the Marine position he holds is not low. Hey, if only I brought some peanuts and melon seeds over here. Wait, what's the number dropped from Locks and the other Marines? Just as Dean Riding was talking, suddenly, a system notification sounded in his ear. Ding. A drop of a summoning point was detected ahead. Close black lens bracket. Ding. A drop of a summoning point was detected ahead. Close black lens bracket. In an instant, Dean Riding suddenly realized, a second ago, he was still wondering what it was, it turned out, it was the summoning point. Tisk tisk tisk. I came to see a show, and I got an unexpected harvest. It seems that my luck is not bad. However, as soon as he finished speaking, there was a bang from behind him. Dean Riding turned his head slowly, and a figure came into his sight. Although the night was dark, Dean Riding could still see clearly that the person who came was a man in a Marine uniform. Look carefully. A little familiar. The one in the Marine uniform grinned. And it was really because of this smile that the appearance of Luffy inexplicably flashed in Dean Riding's mind. Wait. This guy is young Garp. With a lot of moonlight, boy, sure. It seems. I'm lucky too. There's actually someone watching the show and mastering the battlefield situation. You belong to the Locks pirates. Garp said excitedly. What? Dean Riding stood up slowly, and said, what about mastering the battlefield situation, what about the Locks pirates, don't get me wrong, I'm just a spectator. Do you think I'm a fool? Faced with such a fierce battle ahead, your face doesn't change. You tell me that you are just watching the show. Don't pretend, you are a member of the Locks pirates. Quote. What about me? Okay, I won't show you the show, right? Then I'll go back to sleep, and Locks is right in front, hurry up. Dean Riding picked up the drink on the side, turned around and wanted to leave, and meeting Garp at this point was something he never expected. Also, he didn't want to get involved with Garp. Now, he didn't know anything about Garp, and didn't know his strength, so Dean Riding didn't want to fight Garp. 13 The battle between Dean Riding and Garp, for flowers. Dean Riding wanted to go, but Garp didn't think so. It's not easy to meet a guy with a special position in the Locks pirates. Is it just to let him disappear from my eyes in vain? Garp's inner answer is that it is impossible. Kong won't let him go head to head with the Locks pirates, well, he's going to find an opponent himself. Now, having found a guy who doesn't look easy, how could Garp give up? And many more. Just a few steps away from Dean Riding, Garp stopped him directly. What? Is it possible that you want to attack me, an unarmed tavern owner? Unarmed tavern owner? I don't think so, admit it, your disguise can't deceive me at all. Quote. Quote. Dean Riding understood. Garp has regarded himself as a member of the Locks Pirates since he saw his side, and now, no matter how much he said, he also enters from the left ear and exits from the right ear. There is no other way. When encountering Garp, the difficulty of avoiding the battle is really a bit high. Ah, that's right, finally admitted. Garp grinned excitedly. Screw you. Dean Riding unceremoniously threw the case of fine wine in his hand towards Garp. Garp waved his hand lightly, and with a pop sound, the box of fine wine instantly shattered, the fine wine spilled on the ground, and the rich aroma spread everywhere. Hoo. Garp couldn't help but gasp for a few mouthfuls, and then cursed. This guy, he ruined the wine with such a beautiful fragrance, he really deserves to be damned. As soon as he spoke, Garp noticed that Dean Riding had already started running. You can't escape, the Locks Pirates were founded today, and they will end today. Garp yelled, quickly moved his legs, and then directly chased after him. Originally, Dean Riding planned to run back to his address, but what he never expected was that Garp had been relentlessly chasing him. There is no way, if he can work hard, he still runs home. Garp is fine, if it attracts the arrival of other Marines, maybe the old nest will be taken over later. FK, lousy as just watching a play. As for, if I had known this earlier, I would not have come. After running for a long time, Dean Riding came to a forest. At this moment, he decided not to run. What? Give up. Garp came after him, clenched his fists, and flashed an exaggerated smile at Dean Riding. Originally, Dean Riding wanted to be reasonable, but when he thought that the guy standing in front of him was Garp, he decided to save his saliva. Fortunately, this may be a way to test one's own strength. Dean Riding looked at Garp, who was approaching step by step, and this thought flashed in his heart. Garp didn't talk too much nonsense. Armament Hockey covered his hands in an instant, and then sped up and ran wildly. When he reached a certain distance, he jumped up. He waved his fist and hit him directly. And Dean Riding is naturally not indifferent. Armament Hockey also quickly covered his hands, and then threw a punch too. Advertisement. Boom. Clash of fists. The clash of armed colors. It caused a stream of air to flow around instantly. To be honest, in terms of Armament Hockey and combat experience, Garp is far better than Dean Riding in these two aspects. However, in terms of uncertainty, Dean Riding is far better than Garp. Because, Dean Riding has a demonic physique, which is equivalent to having a layer of Armament Hockey's defense against himself, and besides defense, there are also attacks, body toughness, super high recovery ability and so on. Leaving aside the demon physique, the current Dean Riding has also mastered the Conqueror's Hockey, that is to say, defense, perception, etc. have been improved again. Moreover, not only these, Dean Riding also has an upgraded version of Sun, although it only removes the disadvantage of time change. However, the ability still exists, but now it is changed to be like one mode and one mode. And to turn on the mode, it needs the strength of one's own body. As for the mode, it is similar to the original Ace Kano. Night mode. It is the state of not using the Sun ability. Morning mode. The conditions to be activated are not high. In this mode, the strength is significantly enhanced, and you can pick up the heavy artifact Rita with one hand. Morning mode. The physical condition that needs to be turned on is average. In this mode, the strength is improved again. Noon mode. The conditions that need to be turned on are very demanding on the body. At this time, 1 minute at noon, he will transform into an invincible incarnation, which is called, I am the only one in the sky and the world. Ha 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 ha. During Armament Hockey's confrontation, Garp suddenly grinned. Come on, tell me that the owner of an ordinary tavern can have such strength. Quote. Dean Riding was a little speechless, the other free hand Armament Hockey instantly covered, and then punched again. Garp did the same. After seeing Dean Riding make a move, he also covered his hands with Armament Hockey and punched. Bang! The fist collided again, and the impact caused the ground where Dean Riding was standing to collapse directly. As Likewise, the fighting on Locke's side was intense. Whitebeard has also entered the battle, and the ability of Shock Fruit makes the surroundings vibrate. Where did Garp go? Why did he disappear in a short while? Somewhere, Sengoku and Suru were running. Garp is so messed up, if I'm not wrong, that guy should be, ran to confront the Locks pirates head on. Sengoku guessed. Phew, what a headache. Every time I perform a mission with Garp, what I worry about is not whether the mission can be completed, but whether Garp will cause more trouble. 14 Respond to my will, Rita the Axe seeking flowers. It's no use nagging too much now, let's find that nervous guy before he does something stupid. Sengoku sighed helplessly. Of course I understand the truth, but that guy has never been able to do things in his own right. Crane continued to complain, wishing he could just push that guy Garp to the ground and beat him up. As for the Golden Lion, in order to find the owner of the fireball, they have been wandering around Dean Riding. It doesn't make sense. According to calculations, it's around here, but, let alone the owner of the fireball, because of Marine's attack, most people who have nothing to do with it have already gone into hiding gone. Damn it. Golden Lion cursed and glanced at the place below that was turned into ruins by shells, and frowned slightly, but he didn't intend to give up. At this moment, the phone bug in his arms rang. Blue, 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 blue. Golden Lion was slightly taken aback, and subconsciously took out the phone bug from his bosom. This phone bug was given to the cadres by Locks when the Locks pirate group was first established, and each cadre has one, so that they can be contacted under special circumstances. Golden Lion didn't hesitate, and quickly connected to the phone bug. As soon as the connection was made, before the Golden Lion had time to speak, the phone bug simulated the face on the other side, but it was not Locks, but a face that was somewhat unfamiliar to Golden Lion. Master Shiki, Captain Locks has an order for you to come back and assemble. Huh, UB asterisk 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 D, what are you talking about? I haven't finished the task Locks gave me. Master Shiki, this is an order from Locks, and I also told you that if you have found it, come back together, and if you don't find it, come back too, saying that he can't go away, and fate will bind him to Locks pirates. Although Golden Lion was very upset, it turned out to be Locks' order, which made him helpless. I see. The Golden Lion who hung up the phone bug had a displeased expression on his face. Glancing around again, he continued flying in the direction of Locks. Puff. Garp immediately stood up from the ground, followed by a mouthful of blood involuntarily spit out from his mouth. His sharp eyes looked down slightly. Under the tattered clothes that smelled of burning was his burned body, which was red and red. You guy, you really don't play cards according to common sense. I always thought that you, like me, rely on your own strength to become stronger, but I never thought that you, like them, rely on devil's strength to become stronger. Fruit can improve your strength. As Garp spoke, he reached out to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. Although there was a burning pain in his shoulder, the expression on his face did not change much. Dean Riding didn't answer right away, he slowly raised his hand, and a huge shining great fireball was instantly condensed. So what, son without mercy? After saying that, Dean Riding threw the huge great fireball in his hand towards Garp. According to a normal person, the first thought is to dodge, but for Garp, his first thought is a hard bar. Armament Hockey covered his hands in an instant, and then he jumped up, raised his fist, and hit the oncoming fireball directly. Advertisement. Boom. Zzz. Even the fist that had already covered Armament Hockey, from the moment it touched the fireball, white steam came out. Drink. With Garp's roar, he increased his strength, and what Dean Riding didn't expect was that this guy really used his fist to blow away the fireball he sent out. However, the price of being so reckless is that his fist was also burned. Could it be that you don't have any other skills? Can you make this kind of fireball? Garp said in a deep voice. Since Dean Riding turned on the morning mode, his physical skills are almost the same as Garp now, but, in some respects, Dean Riding is still better than Garp. For example, recovery, defense and so on. But, the only thing Dean Riding lacks is combat experience. However, Garp can't take advantage of Dean Riding if he keeps fighting like this. I actually inherited Ace Kano's son, so I should also let the God Axe Rita respond to my will. Single quote. Dean Riding thought to himself, and in the next second, he raised his hand and shouted softly. Respond to my will, Rita the Axe. As soon as the words fell, the one-handed axe that fell at Dean Riding's house instantly started to move, and immediately shot out like a cannonball. Ace Kano, who was sitting on a stool worrying about Dean Riding, was taken aback. What's going on? Why did my axe fly away? Brush. The magic axe Rita was very fast, and within a moment, it fell directly into Dean Riding's hand. His first impression was that this axe was very heavy. It's done. Dean Riding was overjoyed. Garp, on the other hand, was a little surprised. What kind of weapon is this? It seems to be flying over with spirituality. Could it be a demon sword? Just as Garp was thinking about it, Dean Riding swung his one-handed axe and ran wildly. At the moment he jumped, Armament Hockey instantly wrapped the magic axe Rita. Drink. Garp is the same as before, it is not false at all, it is directly covered by Armament Hockey, and then defended. Boom. With the fall of the divine axe Rita, a huge impact followed. The ground on which Garp was standing sank straight down. Good. So heavy power, this guy. 15 The change of the battle situation, Sengoku and the crane, seeking flowers. Garp frowned tightly, his deep pupils stared at Dean Riding in front of him. At this moment, for some reason, he felt uneasy. However, one thing Garp doesn't know is that the power of the sun on Dean Riding's body at this moment is being transmitted into Rita the Axe. Report your name, boy. Garp said in a deep voice. As for Dean Riding, of course he ignored him, and backed away with the help of Garp's body. However, at the moment of withdrawing, Dean Riding swung the axe Rita in his hand. Super slash dust slash. As soon as Dean Riding's voice fell, in an instant, a slash was released from the magic axe Rita. Although Garp was stunned, he was not stupid. He didn't plan to take this blow hard, and directly dodged to the side. Dean Riding slashed again. Swish swish swish. Several slashes attacked him again. Boom, boom. The original night was pitch black under the mixture of thick smoke and dust. Suddenly, at this moment, Garp rushed out of the smoke. Go to hell. With Garp's roar, his fist that had already wrapped Armament Hockey swung out. The corners of Dean Riding's mouth raised slightly, because it was within his expectation. The golden light was released from the divine axe Rita, and in just a second, a fireball that was much larger than before was instantly condensed. The light instantly lit up half of the island. Garp, who was rushing towards Dean Riding, was dumbfounded, his pupils constricted violently, but at this critical moment, Garp quickly used Moonwalk to change the trajectory. It's late, Garp. While speaking, Dean Riding pushed the huge fireball down. Before the fireball reached the ground, it exploded instantly. Boom. Accompanied by a loud noise, a powerful air current washed away everything around. Huge sand and stones also flew around. The nearby big trees ignited spontaneously, and a raging fire ensued. After landing smoothly, Dean Riding's first thought wasn't whether Garp had been hit hard, or whether he had dodged out of the way. It was the idea of running away. He had already made a lot of noise before. Maybe, Marine support has already arrived. Goodbye. After dropping a sentence, Dean Riding was about to leave, but before he could take any steps, he froze in place, his pupils constricted slightly. In the next second, he covered his face and laughed loudly. God, can you please stop messing with me? I shouldn't be watching any drama. Yes, it was Sengoku and Crane who were attracted by the previous light note, not the fireball just now that appeared in Dean Riding's field of vision. Dean Riding exchanged glances with Sengoku and Crane, neither acting rashly. Who is this guy? Advertisement. Sengoku fixed his eyes on Dean Riding and asked in a low voice to the crane beside him. No, I don't know, it's a completely unfamiliar face. This guy is very strong, but he shouldn't be a pirate. If a pirate has such strength, he will have a very good one. Bounty. Facing Crane's slow analysis, Sengoku also nodded in agreement. Immediately afterwards, he glanced around, but found no one else. I thought it was the Garp guy here, but it doesn't look like. Sengoku muttered, then asked Dean Riding. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am, what matters is who you think I am. Dean Riding said calmly. He doesn't explain anything now, because he doesn't think it's necessary. If Sengoku thinks like Garp, no matter how much he wastes his tongue, it's just a waste of time. What are you doing? Crane asked. Practice. Dean Riding responded as he made his way. Sengoku met Crane's eyes, although he didn't speak, but Crane understood what Sengoku meant. He was asking if he should stop Dean Riding. Crane shook his head and said softly, I don't think it's necessary. First, he shouldn't be a pirate. Second, our purpose is to find that B*********** D Garp, so. Don't waste too much time on him. Sengoku nodded, agreeing with Suru's decision. However, just when Sengoku and Crane were about to leave. Suddenly, a loud voice came from not far away. Stop him. That guy is from the Locks Pirates. What? Sengoku and Crane were stunned for a moment, and reacted quickly. Sengoku went to the front to block the way, and Crane blocked the way behind. At this time, Garp, who was in a mess, had already come to Sengoku. Garp, what's going on here? Seeing Garp in a mess, Sengoku asked in a puzzled way. An unknown guy made this happen. Garp, you are quite picky. He rolled his eyes at Garp and said angrily. Ha 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 ha. Garp looked indifferent. After scratching his head, he smiled and said, this kind of mission, is what I want. It's this time, and you still say such unrealistic words. Sengoku complained. Who is he? Garp. Crane then asked aloud. Him. I don't know him, but the Locks Pirates should be unable to escape. Garp explained with a smile. Dean Riding looked helpless. It's up to you to distort the facts, Garp. Is it from the Locks Pirates? Sengoku stared at Dean Riding, his face serious. Don't you believe me when I say I am? Of course, if you insist on saying that I belong to the Locks Pirates, I can't help it. After all, I can't tell you three with one mouth. Dean Riding said slowly. B************************************ D, are you here again? Stop pretending, you are the Locks Pirates. Garp said firmly. Looking into Dean Riding's eyes, looking into Garp's, neither of them seemed to be lying. 16 Golden Lion, you are such a good person, seeking flowers. At this moment, Dean Riding's head hurts a little. He originally wanted to be a melon-eating crowd, but he never expected that in front of him, good guy, he would directly become a party. Catch it with nothing. Boy, 1 fights 3, you have no chance of winning. Garp tore off the tattered military uniform that was burned on his upper body, clenched his hands into fists, and was ready to fight at any time. It doesn't matter if he is a member of the Locks Pirates now, let's control him first. Sengoku said lightly. I think so too. For the Locks Pirates, we would rather catch one by mistake than let one go. Crane also said firmly. Call. Dean Riding sighed heavily, it seemed that he was going to fight with his back. However, just when the situation was about to stabilize, the situation changed again. Just listening, a unique laughter came from above the air. Gia ha 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 ha. I've already given up. I didn't expect God to give me another chance. Everyone raised their heads when they heard the sound, and there was a tall figure in the sky under the bright moon and stars. Although the sightlines were not very good, both Dean Riding and Garp recognized him at a glance. He was Golden Lion Shiki. Shiki. Damn it, it seems that a real member of the Locks Pirates came here. Crane frowned. The appearance of the Golden Lion suddenly made their situation less optimistic. The appearance of Shiki means that the guy in front of us is really a member of the Locks Pirates. Sengoku said anxiously. Ha 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 ha, it seems that things are really getting more and more interesting. Garp laughed loudly, full of energy all over his body. There was a snap. Crane didn't hold back, raised his fist, knocked Garp on the back of the head, and cursed. What's so interesting? Can you be more normal, guy? Garp touched the back of his head and said with a slight smile, sure enough, an angry woman is more terrifying. Oh, it's you, I remember you, especially you Garp, the impression is still fresh in my memory. And there are two other smart guys, if I remember correctly, one of them is Sengoku, with Crane Bar. As he said that, Golden Lion followed the trend and looked at Dean Riding again, his eyes flickered slightly, as if he understood something. Unexpectedly, we met again so soon, that senior bartender. No, the bartender has lowered your status, I should call you the tavern owner. Dean Riding looked at the Golden Lion and didn't speak. He didn't understand why the Golden Lion came here. Is it purely wanting to fight Garp? Still. In short, no matter what, the appearance of the Golden Lion has brought a lot of benefits to Dean Riding. Advertisement. Here, Golden Lion continued to speak. It seems that your current situation is not optimistic. Are you being hunted down by Marine? How about it? How about we make a deal, and I will help you escape here, and you only need to agree to my request. Dean Riding smiled with great interest, and then said, what a deal. Join our Locks Pirates, as long as you nod your head, you will immediately get the protection of the Locks Pirates, and I will have a reason to help you. Well, I don't think this will be a lost deal. Golden Lion explained to Dean Riding slowly. However, after Golden Lion's words fell, the corners of Dean Riding's mouth slightly raised. At first, Dean Riding didn't think Golden Lion could help him. However, it never occurred to me that the Golden Lion somehow confirmed to himself that he was not the Locks Pirates. Shiki, you are such a good person. Dean Riding laughed. Quote question mark question mark question mark question mark question mark quote. This move by Dean Riding directly confused the Golden Lion who was just floating in the sky. After a moment of shock, he also laughed along with Dean Riding. Gia ha 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 ha. You are also a lunatic. I like it. How about it, you guy? Do you want to join the Locks Pirates, and be a tavern owner? This completely swallows your potential. Dean Riding withdrew his laughter, then patted the dust off his body, and said calmly, I refuse. Originally thought that Dean Riding would readily agree, but never expected that he would refuse directly. You guy, do you know what you're talking about? Do you know the future potential of the Locks Pirates? Golden Lion retorted. So what? Dean Riding still looked indifferent. That's fine, I'll just watch you fend for yourself. However, I like your character, and I won't leave until you agree. Of course, even if I don't agree until I die, I won't leave either. Interfering with you. Golden Lion sneered. Right after the Golden Lion finished speaking, the crane hit Garp hard on the back of the head again. You idiot, look what you have done. Garp smiled awkwardly and didn't answer. Fend for myself. Why do I fend for myself? Do you know why these three Marines with brains are chasing me? The reason is, these guys thought I was a member of the Locks Pirates, and now you have proved it for me. I think, they can't still attack me, a good citizen. Dean Riding looked at Garp, Sengoku, and Crane with a smile on his face as he spoke. What? Golden Lion was slightly taken aback, and his anger rose rapidly. You be asterisk 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 D. It's none of my business now, you play slowly, I'll leave first. Dean Riding waved his hand, then turned and prepared to leave. When the Golden Lion saw it, he became anxious immediately, and quickly flew towards Dean Riding, and then shouted, stop for me. However, at this moment, Garp raised his fist and attacked. 17 This age, called Locks asking for flowers. Sensing the danger, Golden Lion immediately took a few steps back. Garp made an empty move and stopped in front of Golden Lion. Get out of Garp, this is a matter between me and that bartender. If you insist on sabotaging my good business, don't blame me for being ruthless. Golden Lion said in a cold tone. I don't care about your affairs, but as a Marine, arresting pirates is my duty. Garp said calmly. Shua. At this time, Sengoku and Suru also came to Garp's side. Tisk. That's the case, then I'll step over the corpses of the three of you. Golden Lion immediately activated his Devil Fruit ability and attacked the three of Garp. On the other hand, Dean Riding, he didn't intend to stay here any longer, so as not to cause too many incidents, his little heart couldn't stand it. As for the dropped summon point, he is not in a hurry, after the battle between the Locks Pirates and Marine is over, he is slowly picking it up. Everyone, goodbye. After leaving these words, Dean Riding left without looking back, and returned to his home as quickly as possible. Mr. Dean Riding, you are finally back, you are worried about me. As soon as he entered the door, Ace Kano came over. When he saw the magic axe Rita in Dean Riding's hand, he was slightly startled, and continued, the magic axe Rita, how could it be? In your hands, could it be? Yes, I, like you, can also use Rita the axe. Dean Riding didn't hide it, because he didn't think it was necessary to hide it. After all, Ace Kano was summoned, and he was absolutely trustworthy. A smile appeared on Ace Kano's face. Mr. Dean Riding's ability is really hard to figure out. Dean Riding smiled without saying a word, took a few sips from the water glass on the table, and then said, it's better not to rest tonight. I don't know if the battle between the Locks Pirates and Marine will become more intense. So, just in case, we have to be vigilant at all times. Ace Kano nodded, and said softly, well, listen to you, Mr. Dean Riding. After a long time. Locks over there. As for the war, not a short time has passed. The corpses of marine and pirates lay in disorder. Bright red blood stains the shores of the Red Sea. The surrounding ground is already riddled with holes. The golden lion also returned to Locke's side. Of course, Garp has nothing to do with Sengoku either. The reason why he got rid of Garp so smoothly was entirely because of his devil fruit ability. Shiki, Locke yelled. Clear. As soon as the golden lion's voice fell, the boat docked on the shore instantly floated up, and then flew towards Locke in diameter. After completing the first step, Locke continued to shout. Everyone aboard, Edward, the rest is up to you. Whitebeard nodded, and then activated his devil fruit ability. The ground split instantly, and a huge deep ditch appeared between the pirate and the marine. Advertisement. The ground where Whitebeard is located is sinking to the bottom of the sea at a speed visible to the naked eye. Marine also stopped at this moment. Of course, the main reason was not that they couldn't chase. Instead, Marine Admiral Bunye was seriously injured when he fought Locke, and one arm was given to this island. The actions of the Locke's pirates were very fast. Those who were not seriously injured had basically boarded the ship. As for those who were injured and did not get on the ship in time, Locke abandoned them. Wait, Shiki. Seeing that Marine had no intention of chasing him, Locke made Golden Lion stop. He slowly climbed to the highest point, looked down at Bunye and the others, and then shouted loudly. Wait, Marine, wait, world government. One day, I, Locke, will overthrow you. This era is called Locke, ha 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 ha. I saw Locke waved his hand again, and the boat floating in midair began to speed up and leave. Damn it. Bunye watched Locke and his party's ship drift away, feeling very uncomfortable. However, although very unwilling, but there is no other way. Bunye looked at the pirates who were not on board in the small area that was about to sink to the bottom of the sea. His eyes flickered slightly. Locke, you really have no feelings at all. They fought for you, but you left them at a critical moment. One day, you will be abandoned by your most trusted crew members just like them. In this battle, their marine suffered a lot, as did Locke. Bunye felt sorry for the lives of their soldiers, but Locke was indifferent, because, in his eyes, the lives of the weak were as worthless. Of course, Whitebeard, Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin all saw all this, but they didn't say anything. Didn't find it. Shiki. Locke sat on the deck, looked at the Golden Lion floating above and asked. I found it, but that guy rejected me. Golden Lion landed on the ship's railing and explained with a smile on his face. Refused. Locke's eyes sank slightly, but he soon felt relieved. It's okay, he will definitely agree next time. Speaking of which, that guy Edward seems to have a good relationship with him. Next time I'm with him, the success rate should be greatly improved. I'm not wrong, Edward. While Golden Lion was speaking, he glanced at him from the corner of his eye. Whitebeard standing not far away. And Whitebeard still doesn't know what it is, but from what Golden Lion said, it should be related to Dean writing. He pretended not to understand, so he asked, what are you talking about? Of course I'm chatting about Locke wanting that bartender to join the pirates, jihahaha. Upon hearing Golden Lion's words, Whitebeard's expression darkened instantly. He never expected that Dean writing would be taken by Locke. 18 Marine and Locke are going to court Dean writing. Ask for flowers. Muttering, Whitebeard caught Locke sitting on the deck of the boat out of the corner of his eye. That guy's strength shouldn't be weak. To be able to release such a powerful fireball, I think, the development of Devil Fruit has also reached a certain level. Right now, the Locke's pirates have just been established and still need a lot of fresh blood. Besides, Edward, if you are friends with him, let him come here even more. Kong has a whole body of skills, and if there is no place to show them, wouldn't it be a waste of time, don't you think so? Although Locke spoke so nicely, Whitebeard was not stupid, he knew exactly what was going on in his mind. In terms of strength, I don't know. Captain Locke actually meant this. If I have the opportunity in the future, I will naturally convey it. However, as a friend, I will always respect his wishes. Whitebeard said slowly. Then, please, Edward. Locke said with a wicked smile. Time passed by every minute and every second. Hachinosu Island. Marine has cleaned the battlefield. As for the dead pirates, Bunye ordered to dig a big pit and bury them all in it. And Marine is temporarily stationed in Hachinosu for rectification. Garp and the others just came back to report to Kong. Originally, Kong could still control his emotions, but Garp's smile all the time made him burst into anger in an instant. He grabbed Garp's collar and shouted loudly, what the hell are you trying to do? Didn't I already tell you what we did when we were on the boat? Facing Kong's question, Garp didn't take it seriously, touched the back of his head with an awkward smile, and replied, sorry, I was so excited when I landed on the island that I completely forgot about it. Kong was at a loss for words, let go of his hand, and said angrily, next time, I will definitely not take you on such a dangerous mission. Upon hearing this, Garp immediately became anxious. Don't worry, Kong, today is really just an accident. Sure enough, only this kind of words can cause harm to Garp. Crane looked at Garp with a gloomy expression. Today can be regarded as a near miss. At this point, Sengoku suddenly remembered something, and immediately said to Kong, by the way, Kong, there is something very interesting matter. Kong, who was still arguing with Garp, stopped suddenly, then looked at Sengoku curiously, and said, What is it? As for Garp, he was also staring at Sengoku, waiting for his answer. We found a very interesting guy on this island. That guy is very young and has good strength. He made Garp look like a mess. The people from the Locks Pirates even threw an olive branch at him, but he refused. Advertisement. Hearing Sengoku's words, Kong's eyes suddenly brightened, and he said with great interest, "You are younger than Garp, but you make Garp feel embarrassed." Speaking of Dean Riding, Garp also added a sentence. Speaking of that guy, he is a bit evil, his own defense is strong enough. When I used armament hockey to attack, he didn't use armament hockey to defend, I couldn't even break through his defense. Moreover, I also ate a devil fruit related to flames, and I also had an axe with spirituality in my hand, the kind that can be called at any time. Spiritual axe. Are you there when you call? Sengoku and Crane look at me and I look at you. They were not there in front of them, so they didn't know there was such a thing. Yeah, and that one-handed axe is surprisingly heavy. Speaking of which, Kong is already very interested in Garp's description of Dean Riding. You mean, he turned down the Locks invitation? Kong asked. Everyone nodded. Perhaps, this is an opportunity for us. If this person can join our marine, maybe one day in the future, he will become the pillar of marine just like you. Kong laughed. Anyway, if he joins marine, I have a hunch that in the future, he will definitely make a penultimate contribution to marine, but... At this point, Sengoku paused for a while. Just what? It's just that Garp, the B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* difficulties to our invitees. Sengoku explained. Garp, you be asterisk 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 D, can't you let me worry about it every time I go on a mission? Kong looked hopeless. It's not entirely my fault. He looks sneaky at night, and he is not a good person at first glance. Garp also had a grievance on his face. However, Garp can't be blamed, after all, which good citizen doesn't sleep at night to watch such a dangerous battle? I don't care, I'll leave it to you to invite that guy to join the Marine, and it's considered messing around with me, so let's make amends. Kong said firmly. All right, this matter will be done beautifully for you. After learning that Locke's fight with Marine was over, Dean Riding had been watching the situation outside. Dean Riding didn't go there until he was sure Marine had withdrawn from the previous fight. Glancing over the battlefield, those glowing numbers, Dean Riding quickened his pace and walked over. Ding. Successfully picked up the summoning point, and got 3 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Successfully pick up the summon point, get 10 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Successfully picked up the summon point, and got 8 points. Close black lens bracket. 19 Garp and Crane's unexpected visit, seeking flowers. Although there was a bit of an episode in the process, but, in the battle between Marine and Locks, I was the one who benefited the most. With those bright eyes, he looked at the many summoning points on the ground that he had still picked up, and Dean Riding's mood became even better. Ding. Successfully picked up the summon point, and got 18 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Successfully pick up the summon point, get 2 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Successfully pick up the summon point, get 5 points. Close black lens bracket. After working hard for a while, it was already dawn, and at the end of the endless sea horizon, a round of red sun was slowly rising. Dean Riding sat on the rock, his eyes closed, feeling the warmth of the first rays of the sun. Although he didn't close his eyes all night, the current Dean Riding still doesn't feel any fatigue. Opened a virtual panel that only you can see. Host. Dean Riding. Self-abilities. Physical skills assessment. Poor. Summoning points. 368 500ths, get the method, complete the task, or drop from things immediately, or use devil fruit to exchange. Summoned character. Ace Kano, run in degree 0%. Inheritance. Son, whenever the summoned character's running in progress increases, the host will have a chance to inherit part of the character's abilities. Warehouse. None. Task. Complete the first summoning, 1/1 has been completed. After Dean Riding took a glance, he realized that he still had a reward that he hadn't claimed yet. Receive the task reward. Ding. The command has been received, and the task reward has been successfully received. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for getting 200 summoning points. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to host for obtaining an advanced card. This card can only be used in terms of ability. After use, the quality of this ability will be improved. The person who can use it. Host, the summoned person. Oh, looking at the prompt that popped up, Dean Riding was a little surprised. He didn't expect that this advanced card could be used not only by himself, but also by the people he summoned. Dean Riding thought for a moment, Ace Kano doesn't seem to need this advanced card, even if his son is upgraded to a better quality. At night, he is still a scum of the 5th battle. There are already more than 500 summoning points, so you can summon new characters. While Dean Riding was speaking, he glanced around, because it was already daytime, and not far away, he could already see some scattered Hachinosu aborigines coming out. Forget it, let's call when we get home. With a mutter, he stood up, and his figure slowly disappeared here. Moments later, Dean Riding returned home. When he opened the door, he saw a man with a strong figure and a one-handed axe in one hand. And he is Ace Kano. Because of time, now he has changed from a thin form to a strong form. Oh, Dean Riding is back. Advertisement. Although Ace Kano's eyes are full of arrogance, self-confidence, and defiant, but for Dean Riding, he is always in awe. Didn't you rest? The battle between Locks and Marine is over, now you can have a good rest. Dean Riding closed the door, walked in, picked up the cup on the table, and poured himself a cup of tea. There is no need for this at all. Now I feel full of strength. Ace Kano hung the god axe Rita on the stone wall and said softly. Gulu gulu. After taking several sips in a row, Dean Riding said lightly, I hope you can say the same tonight. Just when Ace Kano was about to say something, suddenly, there was a knock on the door outside. Both Dean Riding and Ace Kano subconsciously cast their gazes towards the gate. Dean Riding was even more puzzled. Since he came here, very few people have knocked on this door. Who? Asked Dean Riding. Marine, Garp. As soon as these words came out, Dean Riding's expression suddenly became serious. Marine. Why are those Marine guys here? To catch me? No. It shouldn't be. If they are here to catch me, there is no need to knock on the door, then. What the hell is he here for? Dean Riding thought to himself, puzzled. Marine. Is that the group of low-class guys? Ace Kano said from the side. Dean Riding gave him a blank look, and said calmly, let's see what those guys want to do. Of course, Garp also heard the conversation between Ace Kano and Dean Riding, but he was indifferent. Dean Riding, I'm here to apologize specifically for my rudeness yesterday. Garp explained. Of course, he also got the name from the Aborigines of the island. Please go back. No need to apologize, I didn't take it to heart at all. Dean Riding responded. Caw caw caw. As soon as Dean Riding finished speaking, Garp pushed the door open because it was unlocked. Garp walked in with 2 barrels of wine and a smile on his face. And following behind him was a woman with a very good figure named He. Try it. This is our marine wine. As Garp spoke, he threw one of the barrels in his hand towards Dean Riding. After Dean Riding took it, he put it on the table, stared at him, and said, if I'm not wrong, apologizing is just an excuse for you to come, but in fact, the business should be different, let's talk, before I have the idea of driving you away. Just when Garp was about to say something, he stopped him. She was afraid of Garp, who would mess up the matter without saying a few words, so she planned to say it herself. Locks, and the Locks pirates he just formed, are threatening both the world government and the Marine. Therefore, last night, we were forced to do so. I hope you will forgive me. As for your other business, indeed, apologizing is only one of the reasons why we are here. Another thing is that we, Marine, hope to cooperate with Mr. Dean Riding. 20 new members, Yu-Jia 2 Shan Yaya joins in Seeking Flowers. Cooperate with me. Obviously, after hearing these words from Crane, Dean Riding was very surprised. To be honest, at first he thought that Garp and Crane came here to get something about the Locks pirates out of his own mouth. However, he never expected that he would come to cooperate with him. Yes, Crane nodded, a determined look. Come on, I'm just a small tavern owner, what can I cooperate with you? Dean Riding replied with a slight smile. As long as you think, you can do it. He continued. I do not want. Dean Riding refused without even thinking about it. After all, in his perception, all he can get from cooperating with Marine is a little money or fame. Perhaps, for others, this is indeed a very good choice, but Dean Riding is not interested in these things. Dean Riding didn't think that he wanted to refuse directly, which Wanwan never thought of, and he didn't proceed as he expected at all. Don't refuse so cleanly. When I tell you about the cooperation, you can put forward some conditions. Crane continued without giving up. Dean Riding was silent for a few seconds, it was not easy to send the two of them away, and at the moment, he didn't want to have a conflict with Marine either. After all, although Marine lost a lot in the battle with Locks, there are still many guys with objective strength. I'll give you 2 minutes to say what you want to say. Dean Riding sat on the stool, crossed his legs, and took a few sips of tea while holding it. We want to invite you to join Marine. Your strength, we saw it for all to see last night, if you come, you can directly start in the same position as us. Even, we will try our best to satisfy you with the conditions you put forward. He said slowly. Dean Riding suddenly realized at this moment, good guy, the real purpose of talking about a lot of irrelevant topics was to win him over. And when Crane's voice fell, both Garp and Crane's eyes fell on Dean Riding, waiting for his answer. So, I spent a lot of time saying a lot of useless things, but in fact, I just want me to join your Marine. Well, then I will give you my answer. My answer is, I refuse. Dean Riding said deadpan. In the last life, he bowed his head in order to live, but now, he traveled to another world and obtained a powerful cheat. He doesn't want to be a lackey of the world government. I also don't want people to point fingers and order myself. Do something you don't want to do. What he wants, is freedom, to do as he pleases. I have obtained such a powerful cheat. Wouldn't it be useless to live under others? That's why Dean Riding rejected Crane. Dean Riding, you have such great strength, it's really a pity that you don't uphold justice. He said in a deep voice. Upon hearing this, Dean Riding couldn't help laughing. Marine is justice. Pirates are evil, hee, it's just defined by the winner. Is it possible, shelling the innocent aborigines on the island is the justice of your Marine? Advertisement. Tisk tisk tisk. Don't say anything big, there is no distinction between good and evil in this world, it's just the desire between people. He had no power to refute being so insulted by Dean Riding, and he even had some doubts about Marine and the world government. Could it be that the justice that the world government and Marine keep saying is really like this? You guy, no matter what happens today, I will tie you up, otherwise I won't be able to explain to that guy Kong. Garp's eyes darkened slightly, and he said in a deep voice. Oh, really? Then you can give it a try. At this time, Ace Kano, who was standing beside Dean Riding, smiled calmly. Garp, we didn't come to fight. Crane reminded. You actually said that, so Dean Riding, sorry to bother you, but the door of Marine is always open for you. I hope that next time we meet, we will be partners instead of enemies. While speaking, he slowly stood up. Crane said so, but Garp didn't say anything. No, Dean Riding said calmly. Crane nodded and left here with Garp. This guy, his obsession is too deep. On the street, Garp suddenly made a sound. Actually, what he said is quite reasonable. I don't care about the life and death of ordinary people. In this regard, first think Marine did something wrong. But, Shi Xiaojia, for everyone's sake, first don't think Marine did anything wrong. Perhaps, as Dean Riding said, there is no such thing as justice and evil in this world. It's just everyone's desire, he said slowly. It's not like you, who brainwashed him with just a few words. Garp laughed out loud. Garp, I'm serious. Crane stopped, with a serious expression on his face, his firm eyes fixed on Garp. And Garp was slightly taken aback, restrained the smile on his face, and then walked ahead on his own. Marine's justice is indeed questionable, but my justice is not. Looking at Garp, who was pulling away step by step, there was a smile on Crane's serious face at this moment, and he secretly said. You are reckless, but, Garp, your justice is stronger than anyone else's. Dean Riding, since Garp and Crane left, he's closed the door and locked it. At this moment, it's time to summon a new partner. System, summon, ding. This call needs to consume 500 call points, whether to call or not. Close black lens bracket. Call, ding. The summoning is successful, and 500 summoning points will be deducted this time. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully summoning and getting the Tu Shan Ya Ya from Fox Yao Little Red Mother. 21 First and the Marine Marshal. Ask for flowers. Looking at the word, Tu Shan Ya Ya, prompted on the virtual panel, Dean Riding's eyes flickered slightly. Yes, Tushan Yaya is no stranger to the time traveler Dean Riding. In the original novel of the Fox Demon, Tushan Yaya is the nine-tailed sky fox and the leader of the Demon League. She possesses powerful cold energy demon power, and her comprehensive strength is also very good. The strong, all have their own unique characteristics, and the same is true for Tushan Yaya. In the past, Tushan Yaya could be regarded as a cheerful and lively demon, but since the elder sister who regarded her as her idol was gone, her personality has changed drastically since then, becoming arrogant and indifferent. It's great to have a partner of the opposite S**X, but it seems a bit difficult to get along with. Dean Riding sighed. In fact, it has nothing to do with him. Dean Riding is afraid that Tushan Yaya and Ace Kano will not get along well. After all, Ace Kano is, who are you during the day, and who am I at night? If one does not get along well, the chances of a fight are very high. Just as Dean Riding was contemplating this moment, a light shone in front of him. In the next second, a white human-shaped dummy appeared out of nowhere and appeared in front of Dean Riding's eyes. Accompanied by the injection of the previous light, the dummy slowly became alive, and the skin color was becoming normal at a speed visible to the naked eye. Next second, a tall woman with loose bangs, long hair draped around her waist, a pair of furry animal ears on her head, exquisite facial features, delicate skin, and bare feet appeared in front of Dean Riding. She was wearing dark blue and light blue clothing, one side was sleeveless and the other had long sleeves, and there was a wine jug hanging around her waist. She looked very beautiful, and it was completely different from what Dean Riding had seen on the screen. The same, what you see in reality is like having a breathtaking feeling. Tushan Yaya slowly opened her beautiful eyes, and the appearance of Dean Riding was reflected in those clear pupils. However, before Tushan Yaya or Dean Riding could speak, Ace Kano, who was sitting not far away, spoke first. Oh, it seems that a very capable opposite S**X has come. It's the first time we meet, I'm Ace Kano. Ace Kano greeted Tushan Yaya with a proud face. Tushan Yaya's beautiful eyes glanced slightly, and the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. Crack, crack, a thin layer of cold air was released from her body, and the ground was freezing at a speed visible to the naked eye. It's a very special way to say hello. Ace Kano smiled faintly, and the magical power, sun, in his body was released slowly, and the ice that was about to freeze to him melted instantly. Dean Riding had a gloomy look on his face, although it was thought that the two of them might be a little difficult to get along with. But looking at it now, it might be a little bit, maybe extremely difficult to get along with. Okay, let's call it a day. This is the hut that has been with me for almost a year. I won't allow you two to destroy it. As soon as Dean Riding's voice fell, the cold and heat in the room gradually disappeared, and everything returned to normal. Tushan Yaya. Advertisement. Tushan said lightly, and then looked at Dean Riding with clear eyes. I'm curious, you and him have no magic weapon or demon power, but they can use some kind of power. Dean Riding sat on the chair, and then said slowly, isn't this normal? This is not the world you used to be in, this is a brand new world. There is no so-called magic weapon in your mouth, and there is no so-called demon power here. Then this is me. As Tushan spoke elegantly, he raised his jade hand, and a chill was gradually released. Only you. Tushan Yaya heard this, smiled slightly, and withdrew her demon power. Okay, have I come to another world? It sounds outrageous, but I never thought that such a thing really happened to me on the body. Although Tushan Yaya's character was known on the screen as cold, but now it seems that she is neither too cold nor too enthusiastic. Dean Riding feels that this feeling is just right. Holy Land Mariajoy. Inside the splendid palace, Marine Marshal Clay was sitting on the sofa, drinking coffee calmly. Marshal Clay, I'm afraid you can't explain it to the world government. After dispatching so many marine elites, you even let the Locks pirates escape. Beside Clay, a man in a black suit spoke eloquently. Clay, on the other hand, didn't take it seriously. He leaned back against the sofa and spread his hands on it, with a displeased expression on his face. That's enough, just blame me for whatever the world government wants to do. This time, I really underestimated Locks. Those guys. Can you bear this responsibility? Marshal Clay. The man in the black suit continued to chatter, with a strange expression. The reason why he dared to talk to Marshal Marine like this was because he was directly sent by 5 elders to assist Marshal Marine. It is said to be assistance, but in fact, it is for better surveillance. Who do you think I am? First am the Marine Marshal. Clay directly grabbed his collar with one hand, and then pulled him closer. Those deep pupils stared into his eyes. The back of the man in the black suit felt cold instantly, and beads of sweat gathered on his face. I was sent by the 5 elders, and I am not under your marine jurisdiction. So what? Trash, how dare you buzz like a fly in front of me? The moment Clay let go of his collar, he grabbed him by the neck, threw it on the ground, and said coldly, go back and tell 5 elders, from now on, I don't need anyone to assist me in my work. Cough cough cough. The man in the black suit who fell to the ground stood up unsteadily, coughing non-stop. 22 The advanced version of the sun for flowers. Hachinosu Island. At the same time, stationed at the marine base camp here. Garp and Crane have gone back to report. Reject. Reject. The expression on Kong's face tightened slightly, but in an instant, he relaxed again. Yes, Dean Riding's refusal was within his expectations. After all, he could have said no under pressure from Locks, let alone Marine. Is there a reason for the refusal? Kong continued to ask. That guy said a lot of nonsense. What he probably meant was that Marine's justice was not the justice he wanted. Garp explained aloud. Although Dean Riding didn't mean it that way, Crane still nodded. HMPH, a brat, how does he know what justice is? There is no such thing as perfect justice in the world. Everything is destined to have trade-offs. The world government has already figured out this truth. Kong crossed his hands in front of his chest, and said righteously. In Kong's eyes, Dean Riding is always a person who has no experience in the world, has little knowledge, and always thinks he is right. As everyone knows, although the word, justice, seems simple, it actually requires a huge price to maintain. It's true to say that, but, it's always a bit of regret for our Marine. With that kid's potential, if he joins the Marine and is cultivated, his future will be bright. Sengoku said slowly. Sengoku, don't think so. There are many people with high potential in this world. As for him, it's not worth our effort to dig him out. Kong said in a deep voice. Sengoku nodded, but although he nodded, he didn't agree with what Kong said. Okay, let's stop this matter. After recuperating, we will go back and return to our mission. This time, it seems that we have won the duel with Locks, but in fact, we have lost a lot. Kong said calmly. Yes, the 3 of Sengoku nodded. Then retreat slowly. Time flies, and a few days have passed. Although it didn't take long, something big happened. The Locks pirates attacked the member countries of the world government, burned, killed and looted, and destroyed the country in an extremely short time. As soon as the newspaper came out, the countries that joined the world government were uneasy, and the prestige of the world government also plummeted. Marine, who was staying on Hachinosu Island, was recalled overnight because of this incident. As for Dean Riding, because of the collapse of the tavern, fortunately, he quit directly and lived a relatively free life for a few days. Moreover, because Tushan Yaya came with the endless wine pot, Dean Riding had a lot of advantages in this aspect. Anyway, he didn't have to worry about wine. On the hill behind Hachinosu. At this time, Tushan Yaya was sitting on the branch, holding the endless jug in his hand, while crossing his legs, staring at the front from time to time. Advertisement. At this time, Ace Kano was practicing with Dean Riding in front of him. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. The collision between the fist and the flesh, the sand and stones on the shocking ground bounced up. It's unbelievable that you also have the power of me. After fighting for a while, Ace Kano understood everything. At first, he thought that the reason Dean Riding could make Rita the Axe respond to his will was because of some method Dean Riding used. It wasn't until today's battle that he realized that Dean Riding possessed the same power as himself. No, strictly speaking, the power is exactly the same, but, in terms of relative comparison, Dean Riding wins, because at night, he can still use the power of the sun. Dean Riding, how on earth did you do it? Ace Kano asked in surprise. Dean Riding withdrew his fist, then jumped back, and said flatly, of course. I have a sun in my heart, and, although the power is exactly the same, but in fact, there is still a difference of. After all, Dean Riding slowly raised his hand, and a huge purple fireball condensed into one. The reason why it turned purple was due to the advancement card obtained from the system. After the advancement was completed, it successfully changed from golden yellow to purple. Moreover, it also has a special attribute, that is, it can turn one's own physique into a flame. This ability is somewhat similar to the ability of Logia Devil Fruit, and it also has the ability similar to elementalization, which is immune to physical attacks. According to the system, when one's own sun has advanced to a certain level, it will have the attribute of immortality. When a huge purple fireball formed, the surrounding temperature rose rapidly, and some dry grass on the ground spontaneously ignited instantly. Dean Riding, you really are hiding something. Ace Kano laughed. Dean Riding laughed without saying a word, and then retracted the huge purple fireball that was released. After all, if there is really a battle between the suns with Ace Kano, I am afraid that everything around here will turn into a sea of flames. Come here for today, Ace Kano. As soon as the words fell, Tushan Yaya also floated over at this time, followed by a cold voice. Dean Riding, practice with me too. Since coming here, I can clearly feel that my demon power has dropped. Dean Riding raised his head slightly, met Tushan Yaya's beautiful eyes, and then explained. Well, it's okay, but don't worry too much about the decline of demon power, because it's a normal thing when you come to this world. It won't take long to recover. As that's so, no wonder, I can also feel that my own magical power, sun, seems to have declined, but after fighting with you, I can clearly feel that the magical power of the sun has changed stronger. Dean Riding nodded. At the same time, Tushan Yaya made a faint sound. Now that it's figured out, testing is unnecessary. Also, are we going to stay here forever? Dean Riding was taken aback for a moment, then smiled frankly. Good question, this question is indeed a very important matter at present. 23 The birth of a new organization in the old era, seeking flowers. P.S. Sorry, I wrote an old book in the past 2 days, and it will be updated normally tomorrow. If you are interested in the old book, you can also go to the 17th team of the Whitebeard group. So, have you figured it out? Although Tu Shanya was aloof, she looked at Dean Riding softly. It's rare to have a wonderful trip. In fact, I also want to see what the outside world is like. Ace Kano on the side continued. Although Ace Kano's character will become more and more arrogant over time, he is always full of respect for Dean Riding. Of course, although he wanted to go outside, if Dean Riding wanted to stay on this island, then he wouldn't say much. As for Tushan Yaya, she doesn't care much. She has been busy for hundreds of years in the world of fox demons. Now that she has got a wonderful trip, she completely treats the next day as a long vacation. It's so, then go and see the outside world. Dean Riding said with a smile on his face. Of course, for Dean Riding, there are still many benefits. Because, one of the ways for the system to obtain summoning points is to complete the tasks issued by the system. Second, randomly drop from people or things that Dean Riding meets, that is to say, the more people or things you meet, the higher the probability of dropping summon points from them. Third, you can encounter many unexpected things when sailing, and you may get devil fruit, and devil fruit can be exchanged for summoning points. Except for some major ones, Dean Riding can slowly grow along the way. When I came, a voice introduced me to some basic problems in this world. You should not be willing to live under others, so, you want to form a pirate group by yourself, is it? Tushan Yaya asked casually. Set up your own pirate group. Dean Riding thought for a moment. In fact, he had no idea of forming a pirate group. Pirates. In the eyes of the Marine and the world government, they are extremely evil, but in the eyes of the pirates themselves, they are free. But, in Dean Riding's eyes, it's all just fake. The freedom that the pirates talk about is only supported by strength. Once the support point is lost, it is suicidal. Dean Riding had already made a decision a long time ago. He would marry 4, 5, 6, 7, a wife and live an ordinary life without activating the cheat. If cheat is activated, then he will leave traces of his past in this world, and then take 4, 5, 6, 7 wives, and live the rest of his life peacefully. If he activates the cheat and still does nothing, then this trip through time, Dean Riding feels, will be in vain. Isn't it? Ace Kano also looked at Dean Riding in surprise. Advertisement. Why do we want to form a pirate group? Why do we want to be pirates? To be honest, I think, whether it is today or in the past, the title, pirate, will only bring us down. Identity. Dean Riding explained slowly. Tushan Yaya sneered. He did not know when he had fetched 3 wooden bowls, handed them to Dean Riding and Ace Kano respectively, and then asked aloud. You mean, you want to form a force yourself? Dean Riding nodded, and calmly said. Yes, I want to form an organization that is neither evil nor evil, neither righteous nor righteous. Everything is decided by our hearts. Verb, move. Do as you please. I really like it, Tushan Yaya said softly. I don't care. Whatever you want, I'll follow. Ace Kano also responded. At this time, Tushan Yaya shook the endless jug twice before pouring it out. The fine wine was poured from the wine jug, as if possessing spiritual consciousness, it floated autonomously into the bowls held by Dean Riding and Ace Kano. Cheers. Dean Riding raised the bowl, his voice high. Cheers. Ace Kano also quickly raised the bowl. As for Tushan Yaya, although she didn't speak, she respected her after a wicked smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. We are not marine, nor world government, nor pirates, and we don't follow the path they want to go. Everything we do is contrary to them. We are all from different worlds, so. So what? Tushan Yaya and Ace Kano looked directly at Dean Riding. It is impossible for an organization not to have a name, so my decision is to name our organization Dimensional Retrograde Man, or Retrograde Man for short. Dean Riding said calmly. Tushan Yaya was silent for a few seconds, pondered for a while, and then expressed his opinion. It is very connotative, the name of this organization is fine. What about you? Dean Riding looked at Ace Kano, asking his opinion. Me, you don't need to ask me about this kind of thing, I think everything is fine anyway. Dean Riding, the most important thing, is to see what you think. Okay. Dean Riding smiled lightly, and continued. In this case, then I announce the birth of the Dimensional Retrograde. At the same time, an organization that is neither evil, nor just but just is born. 24 Marines Decision, the bounty of the Locks Regiment seeking flowers. Meanwhile, the Holy Land of Mariajoy. Marshal Marine called an emergency meeting again. Most of the top Marine officers gathered together. Continuing like this is not an option. The Locks pirates have only been established for a short time, but what they have done has completely caused the world to panic. Yes, those guys are rubbing the faces of our Marine and world government on the ground step by step. Not only that, the power of the Locks pirates is still increasing step by step, constantly devouring the former pirate giants of New World. Damn it, we should have struck earlier in Hachinosu to stop them from getting together, now it's too late. It's useless to say any more now. Our Marine is probably going to face the most terrifying opponent in so many years. In the meeting room, many officers were discussing with each other, while Marshal Clay of Naval Headquarters sat on the seat without saying a word, as if he was thinking about something. In fact, they are also right, the Locks pirates will become a very difficult existence for their Marine. However, what they never expected was that the Locks pirates were just the beginning. In the future, Luojia's pirate group will gradually stand out, and Dean Riding's Dimension Retrograde will also subvert the world. Marine thought that the current situation was the worst, but they didn't know that this was the beginning of their nightmare. Marshal Clay, strike as soon as possible. If you want to give the Locks pirates a chance to grow, then, they will grow to an extremely terrifying level. By then, the world will change. A senior military officer said with a serious face. As soon as these words came out, the Marine officer originally wanted to answer the conversation, but at this moment, a burst of laughter interrupted their words. Ha 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 ha. Clay looked up to the sky and laughed. When the laughter stopped, his deep pupils scanned all the officers present, and then said in a deep voice. Ridiculous. Strike early. Aren't we attacking early enough? When it was first established, it was led by a Marine admiral, but the result. On the surface, Locks can't take advantage of us, but, we lost, it's a mess. As soon as Clay said this, he directly extinguished the arrogance of everyone present. Clay. Marshal Clay. Then what should we do? Is it possible to watch them grow step by step to the point where we can't handle it? Yeah, if we really reach that point, our world government will usher in a huge disaster. Clay got up slowly, turned his back to them, and sighed softly. The luck of that Locks guy is really enviable. Now the Locks pirate group is loaded with the most promising batch of pirates, such as to hit them, it seems that I have to take action. I invite Ying to go with Marshal Clay. I'll invite you too. Me too. At this moment, basically everyone stood up, staring at Clay's back, and said firmly. However, most of the people are careful. In their eyes, Clay's action is a sure win. The Locks pirates are a big piece of cake, and they can get a lot of benefits from participating together. If he gets credit for this action, it might not be impossible to get promoted to a position. Hearing the high-spirited words behind him, Clay turned around and said with a firm gaze, okay, that's the case, I will make arrangements as soon as possible, and I will definitely not give the Locks pirates a chance to grow. Advertisement. At the same time, New World, a certain island. The base of the Locks pirates. At this time, the Locks pirates are holding a grand celebration banquet. Although the Locks pirates have not been established for a long time, but in this extremely short period of time, the bounties offered by most of the people on the ship have increased significantly. The captain of the Locks pirates, Locks, has a bounty of 2,814,000,000 Baileys. The leader of the Locks pirates, Edward Newgate, has a bounty of 1.38 billion Baileys. The cadre, Charlotte Linlin, has a bounty of 1.142 million Baileys. The cadre, Shaki, has a bounty of 1,088,000,000 Baileys. Etc., etc. Naturally, the reputation of the Locks pirates has also greatly increased. These days, other pirates have come to join the Locks pirates one after another. And Locks, who is extremely ambitious, will naturally not waste these free combat power. A duel was held directly on the island, and Charlotte Linlin was in charge. As long as the strength is not weak, all recruits will be recruited. Cheers. Locks sits on a rock, holds his glass high and smiles on his face. After hearing this, everyone immediately raised their glasses. Ha 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 ha. FK. Locks laughed. All these developments were never expected by Locks. At one time, he felt that it would take decades, or even more time, to become the hegemon of the world. However, according to the current situation, he initially estimated that his ambition would be realized within a few years. Captain, as for that matter, when will we do it? Suddenly at this moment, the golden lion who was sitting not far from Locks asked. That matter. Locks was slightly taken aback, and asked in surprise. Didn't you say last time that Edward and I were going to recruit that kid, Dean Riding? Golden Lion reminded. When Locks heard this, he burst out laughing, took a few sips of wine in a row and said, oh, I remembered, the kid who released the amazing fireball. Yeah, Golden Lion nodded. Whitebeard, who was sitting opposite the Golden Lion, frowned slightly. To be honest, he didn't want to go, because he already knew the result, and Dean Riding would never join the Locks pirates. Shiki, didn't you see it? Those who want to join my Locks pirates now line up in a circle on this island. Also, most of the potential is many times better than that guy called Dean Riding. 25 Valley of the Gods, Celestial Dragons ask for flowers. We don't need to focus on that kind of guy at all, do we? As Locks spoke, those deep pupils stared at the Golden Lion. Golden Lion hesitated for a moment, his eyes narrowed slightly, and he agreed with what Locks said. It's just that, for some reason, he always felt that if Dean Riding joined the Locks pirates, it would bring infinite benefits to the Locks pirates. You are right, Captain. Although he felt a little reluctant to give up this opportunity, Golden Lion still nodded. As for Whitebeard, he was very happy to hear that Locks had given up Dean Riding. He knew that Dean Riding would not join the Locks pirates. So, if Locks continues to stick to Dean Riding, it will be his Whitebeard and Golden Lion that will be difficult to do later. What do you think, Edward? Seeing that Whitebeard was silent, Locks turned his attention to him. Captain, you can decide this kind of thing. Whitebeard picked up his big wrist and drank in big gulps. Ha 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 ha. Hearing what Whitebeard said, Locks laughed loudly, and said while drinking. That's good, I heard that Dean Riding is your friend, I thought I didn't want him anymore, you would be dissatisfied with me. Gu la la la. What Locks said made Whitebeard laugh too, what are you kidding? He had never wanted Dean Riding to join the Locks pirates, and Whitebeard couldn't be happier to see him give up. Captain, you also said that the Locks pirates are based on your strength, and it is only natural that his strength cannot catch your eyes. I am a sensible person. Whitebeard said with a smile. Yeah, the goal of our Locks pirates is to dominate the world. We don't have time to cultivate his growth. If I insist on letting him join, I will harm your friend Edward. You say so. Locks continued. The face is enough for Whitebeard, because, since Whitebeard joined the Locks pirates, he has performed too brightly, making Locks feel at a glance that Whitebeard Shock Fruit's ability is absolutely indispensable for him to dominate the world. Whitebeard smiled faintly, naturally he would not be ignorant of Locks' little thoughts. In a blink of an eye, several days passed again. There's a lot going on in New World these days. Most of them are from the Locks pirates. The world government and Marine are also battered, and they still far underestimated the ambitions of the Locks pirates. Originally, Marine Marshal Clay wanted to find an excellent opportunity to attack the Locks pirates. However, the actions of the Locks pirates these days forced them to step up their pace to carry out the attack plan. As for Dean Riding of Hachinosu, he has not been idle these days, spending a lot of money to buy a big boat. These days, apart from the occasional sparring with Ace Kano, the time is spent modifying the ship and collecting supplies. As for their flag pattern, Dean Riding also designed it scribbled. His pattern is very simple, only wings and a long knife. Advertisement. The one on the left is a swan-like white wing, implying the meaning of an angel. The one on the right is a bat-like black wing, which contains the meaning of the devil. In the middle, they are separated by a long knife, which means that they can use the knife to uphold justice, and they can also become the incarnation of the devil. The pattern of this flag matches well with Dean Riding's freewheeling heart. Dean Riding looked at the flag fluttering in the wind, touched his chin, and muttered, although it's pretty good, but I feel that there is no pattern that can match better than this. If there is, that's what I haven't thought of yet. Everything that needs to be prepared is ready, let's go. Ace Kano walked out of the boat, then leaned his back against the railing of the boat, and said calmly. Where's Yaya? Asked Dean Riding. As soon as he finished speaking, Tushan Yaya's voice came from the top of the boat behind him. Let's go if you want to go. Dean Riding nodded. Soon, the ship lifted anchor and slowly began to move. Dean Riding came to the stern and looked at Hachinosu, who was gradually receding, feeling a little complicated in his heart. I'm nostalgic for the place I've been with for a year. Dean Riding smiled wryly. This voyage, they have no goal, everything is just random. After a few hours. New World, a sea area. 3 huge ships are sailing rapidly. 2 of them are warships, and the one in the middle is a huge luxury ship. Scanning over with the naked eye, all that can be seen are the fortified marine soldiers patrolling. But it is a little curious that although the ship is full of marine soldiers, the flag hanging on the ship is not marine. Yes, although there are marine soldiers patrolling these 3 ships, they are not marine ships, but world government ships. These 3 ships all sailed here from the Valley of the Gods, and their destination was the Holy Land Mariajoy. Being able to come out of the Valley of the Gods, coupled with this huge luxury ship, and a large number of world government personnel and marine soldiers escorting, obviously, the traveler among them is not easy. That's right. On a luxury ship, the people aboard are not ordinary people. Instead, celestial dragons are descendants of the 20 kings who established the world government 800 years ago, and claim to be descendants of the Creator. 26 This is the power of power, seeking flowers. In this world, celestial dragons are an extremely special existence. They were the nobles of the nobles, with all their privileges. And, once offended, Naval Headquarters Admiral or CP0 must come out to protect. For a long time, let them consider themselves noble and disdain to breathe the same air as ordinary people and wear bubble hoods, and treat other races other than themselves as slaves. Cruelty and arrogance are synonymous with celestial dragons. On a luxury ship, in a huge cage, 2 burly men were fighting to the death. They wear shackles on their hands, feet, and necks, and they also wear various large and small scars on their bodies. And outside the cage, on a luxurious soft seat, sat an obese man wearing a suit that looked like an aviation suit, with a bubble hood on his head. Beside him, there are several world government personnel, as well as several marines. Apparently, he is the nobleman of the world, the celestial dragons. It's called Saint Rosiero. For the 2 burly men in the cage, this duel is of great significance to them. If he wins, he can continue to live on. If he loses, it means death. However, for the celestial dragons Lozio Luosheng, the duel between them is just to pass their own time. Boom. After a while, in the cage, the result has been separated. Rosiero Sheng had a dissatisfied expression on his face. Damn it, why does this damned slave always win? As soon as Rosiero Sheng's voice fell, the world government personnel in black suits stood up and said with a smile on his face. Lord Rosiero, does his existence displease you? Yes, next, as long as Luozi Luosheng says yes, then the world government or marine will solve the slaves in the cage as quickly as possible. Suddenly at this moment, Luozi Luosheng stood up with a wicked smile on his face. By the way, I thought of a more fun thing. Saying that, Luozi Luosheng pulled the iron chain on the side, and at the end of the iron chain were 3 women who were not wearing thin clothes. The woman's body was also covered with scars. It is conceivable what kind of inhuman torture they experienced before this. Even, there was no life in their eyes, it seemed that the body in front of them was just a shell. Master Rosiero, what do you mean? The man in the black suit asked in confusion. Let them go in. It just so happens that when we arrive at the Holy Land of Mariajoy, I'm going to buy a new batch of slaves. I'm tired of these slaves. Street. Rosiolo said lightly. I understand, Lord Rosiero. By the way, throw a few more guns in, so that the next fight will be more interesting, ha 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 ha. Okay, Lord Rosiero. One can imagine what happened next. Although the burly man had been injured in the previous battle, it was obviously very easy to deal with these weak women wearing shackles. At the moment before the gun was thrown in, the burly man knocked them all down to the ground with a few punches. Advertisement. Master Rosiero, it seems that the result has been separated. So, how should he deal with it? The man in the black suit asked if he understood. Luozi Luosheng frowned. He thought that throwing the gun in would be interesting, but he never expected that this would be the result. Damn it! Saint Rosiero cursed angrily, pulled out the spear hanging from his waist without hesitation, pointed it at the burly man, and moved the trigger without the slightest hesitation. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Several shots were fired in a row, and the bullets pierced through the burly man. The blood was like a spring, flowing out unstoppably. What? The burly man roared angrily, rushed towards the position of the gun on the ground, and picked up the gun on the ground. I will drag you to death. As he said that, he just wanted to point his gun at Rosiero-san, but, a bullet pierced through his forehead instantly. Yes, Marine made a move. I'm very sorry, Lord Rosiero, I surprised you. Marine withdrew the gun in his hand and bowed deeply to Rosiero. And Rosio Luosheng was extremely furious, walked into the cage, and shot a few more shots at the head of the dead burly man. The untouchables who don't know whether they are dead or alive still want to do something to me, die, die. Rosio Luosheng didn't stop until the bullets ran out. Throw them all into the sea and feed the fish. Yes, Lord Rosiero. Tui. Luozi Luosheng spit out a mouthful of saliva, and then left here without looking back, followed by the man in the black suit. Master Rosiero, then, what should we do with that devil fruit? Asked the man in the black suit. Yes, at first Rosiero Saint wanted to force the winner to eat this devil fruit, but the following things made him give up. Save it for my next batch of slaves. Well, don't bother me with this kind of thing, I'm going outside to get some air. Yes. At the same time, the area not far from the luxury ship. A huge ship with 2 different wings is slowly advancing. According to this route, within half an hour, they will meet the luxury ship. The salty sea breeze, the endless blue sea, the scenery is very good, but the sun is a little bit poisonous. Dean Riding sat on the guardrail, blowing the sea breeze head on, with some enjoyment and some disgust on his face. 27 Brother Die, you are playing with fire and setting yourself on fire, seeking flowers. In a way, this kind of life is indeed quite nourishing. In the world of Dean Riding, those who have money enjoy life, and those who have no money live for money. I have been busy all my life, in order to buy a car, buy a house, and marry a wife. I lie from 9 to 6 every day, which is boring and tasteless. How many people, how many rebellious personalities, in the end, still have to bow their heads to life? Here, although money is also important, but that is only for ordinary people. Anyone with a little strength, as long as your goal is not to dominate the world, is still very popular. Need to buy a house. Those who do not exist at all, whoever buys a house, are directly robbed by powerful people. Do you need a bride price to marry a daughter-in-law? It doesn't exist at all, and those who are powerful are directly robbed. Who cares whether you have a boyfriend or not? In this world, as long as you have strength, you have indirectly power, money, women, and fame. Anyway, as long as you have the strength, let alone how many wives you want to marry, as long as you play well, you can marry as many husbands as you want. Of course, Dean Riding doesn't have such a heavy taste. Just as Dean Riding was staring into the distance, Tushan Yaya threw a flagon in his hand. Although he didn't look back, Dean Riding, who owns observation hockey, sensed it immediately. After catching it with one hand, he took a look. It's the wine, don't worry, it's not something weird. Tushan Yaya explained. Dean Riding smiled lightly, lifted the lid, took a sip, and then a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Well, it's good with ice. Dean Riding gave a compliment. I heard from Ace Kano that you like to add ice to the wine you make, so I tried it. Anyway, I think it's more refreshing after adding it. Tushan Yaya came to the door while talking. At the ship guardrail. Before Dean Riding could answer, Tushan Yaya continued to speak. You are boring enough, you can sit here for so long with such a boring scenery. Dean Riding smiled lightly, and replied, it's okay, it's hard to be so free, so I'm a little absorbed in thinking about things. After that, Dean Riding raised the wine jug, filled his mouth, and then had a happy face. Tushan Yaya smiled slightly, not answering the conversation, then she slowly floated up and sat on the railing of the boat along with Dean Riding. Dean Riding drank the wine in his flagon, then looked at Tushan Yaya, and said with a smile on his face, come on, fill it up. ... The two of them were sitting here, chatting with each other. In this way, time passed by every minute and every second. Until, at the end of the horizon, 3 afterimages appeared. Slowly, 3 huge ships first caught the eyes of Dean Riding and Tushan Yaya. However, Dean Riding didn't care. The sea, encountering a boat is a very common thing. Advertisement. However, as time passed, the 3 huge ships got closer and closer, and Dean Riding clearly saw the representative world government ship. A ship from the world government. Dean Riding didn't have any waves on his face. After all, he wasn't a pirate, and he wasn't an enemy of the world government, so he didn't have to be like a pirate to avoid marine and world government. World government. The one that has stood for 800 years. Tushan Yaya looked at Dean Riding and asked. Dean Riding nodded, then stood up straight, stretched his waist, and shouted. Ace Kano, please adjust the direction to the east a little bit, so as not to encounter other people's boats later. Heard it. Inside the ship, Ace Kano's response sounded. Aren't you going to pass the time? Tushan Yaya continued to ask Dean Riding. Dean Riding shook his head, and said flatly, there's no need for that, let's be a little more obscene in the early stage. Indeed, among the 3 ships, there are 2 warships and a luxury ship. What Dean Riding thought was that the top generals of Marine should be traveling. It's not impossible to pass the time, but if you play it too hot, you won't be able to eat the mutton, and you will be all over the place. For this kind of self-inflicted trouble, Dean Riding didn't think it was worthwhile. Meanwhile, Dean Riding spotted them. They also found Dean Riding. Moreover, under normal circumstances, the personnel of the world government and the marine would ignore it and drive over directly. But, what's different this time is that the celestial dragons Rosiero-san are on board. And even more coincidentally, he was standing outside. Shortly after Marine and the others spotted Dean Riding, Rosio Luosheng also spotted Dean Riding and the others coming head-on. Great, I finally found something to play with. Luozi Luosheng looked directly at Dean Riding's boat, and then shouted excitedly. The man in the black suit standing beside Rosiero Street looked at the flag fluttering in the wind and paused slightly. Yes, this flag is very strange to him, very strange, neither the flag of pirates, nor the flag of enmity with the world government. What does the flag on the opposite side mean? The man in the black suit kept an eye open and asked the marine officer beside him. The pirate officer shook his head. I haven't seen it before, it should be a ship from some country. Hearing this answer, the man in the black suit nodded in satisfaction. It turned out that it wasn't someone who was extremely vicious, powerful, and had an enmity with the world government, so he didn't need to worry too much about the safety of Saint Rosiero. Master Rosiero, do you want to destroy them? The man in the black suit asked. Wait, I've taken a fancy to the one in the dark blue dress sitting on the top. It suits my taste. I'll make her my 23rd wife. As for the ones in front, let them be pariahs. Ross said. Euro Saint arranged. Okay, Lord Rosiero. Dot 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 dot. There will be more updates from the author starting tomorrow. Please support me a lot if you are reading it, and give me a flower monthly ticket or something, please. 28 All members attack, Kamui for the first time asking for flowers. The man in the black suit bowed to Rosiero-san, then took a few steps back, raised his head, and looked at Marine beside him. What Rosiero-saint means, do you know what to do? Marine nodded, and then shouted. Listen to my order, all the guns of the warship are aimed at that ship, waiting for the order to fire at any time. The others, follow me on the second ship and capture them alive. Yes, Master Vice Admiral. As soon as the order came out, Marine began to get busy. As for the people from the world government, they followed Rosiero-saint to the ship and watched quietly. Meanwhile, Dean Riding over there. Dean Riding and the others were naturally aware of world government's malicious move. And the moment Dean Riding saw that Rosiero-saint in the bubble hood coming to the front of the boat, Dean Riding understood everything. Tut tisk tisk. At first I thought it was some marine high-level executive, but I never thought it was celestial dragons. Dean Riding stared directly in the direction of Saint Rosiero. His eyes gradually exuded killing intent. Celestial dragons. Tu Shan on the side heard the sound and looked at Dean Riding in surprise. Although she received some basic information about the world from the system, there was nothing about celestial dragons in it. That's why she reacted when Dean Riding said those three words. Is that also a certain force? She asked. Dean Riding shook his head and explained. Celestial dragons belong to the world government, but they are not good people, even in the eyes of others. It is not good to describe them as demons. Too much. As he said that, Dean Riding yelled again. Ace Kano, adjust the direction again, we'll run right through. At this time, Dean Riding knew that a fight was inevitable. The celestial dragons have already made up their minds, so they will definitely chase after them. And the equipment of this ship cannot escape from the palm of the world government at all. So, all Dean Riding and the others can do is fight. And sailing in the auxiliary ship on the sea. The Marines were a little surprised after seeing this scene. Master Vice Admiral, this group of guys adjusted their direction and ran towards us in a diameter. Before Marine Vice Admiral could answer, Marine on the other side added. So what? What they did was nothing more than an egg hitting a stone. That's right, who do these guys think they are? Behind us are the world's noble celestial dragons. I'm afraid, if they knew at this time, they would have been scared to death. Ha 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 ha, what a bunch of ignorant guys. At first I thought they would run away desperately, but I never expected that these guys would rush towards us directly. He is really a good guy, save us the trouble of chasing him. Listening to their words, Marine Vice Admiral also agreed with them, and then he drew out the long knife at his waist and shouted loudly. Advertisement. The whole army obeys the order. Unless it is a last resort, all of them must be kept alive. In addition, the woman in dark blue can't hurt her anyway, because she is going to be the 23rd wife of Lord Rosiolo. Yes. With the sound of a response, he jumped forward with a little strength and jumped towards the approaching ship. Others with relatively ordinary strength want to use tools, and then use tools to rely on the ship. But, just when those Marines were about to fall on the deck of Dean Riding's ship, a burst of cold air was released in an instant, freezing them directly, and then falling into the sea. It seems that the attack is heavy. I thought it would be a group of very strong guys, but I never expected that it would be so vulnerable. Tu Shanya Ya's body was slowly floating up at this moment, said coldly. It's better to be cautious. After all, none of us know whether there are experts from world government or marine around them. If there is an accident, I will leave the rest to you, Yaya. Dean Riding's eyes moved up slightly, looking at Tu Shan Yaya floating in midair. Tu Shan was dumbfounded. Seeing Dean Riding's expression, she knew that this trip might not be so simple. She sighed softly. Don't worry, if something really happens, I have a way to escape with you and Ace Kano. Dean Riding nodded. Although Tu Shan Yaya said so, he did not dare to relax. Shish. Suddenly at this moment, many thick ropes with sharp weapons on their heads shot over. Dean Riding's eyes flashed, he shook his hand, and a mass of purple flames with high temperature rushed out. In an instant, all the thick ropes that were shot were burned. Seeing this scene, Marine Vice Admiral frowned slightly. Damn, 2 demon fruit powers. Now it seems that things are a bit tricky. I thought that even though they have some strength, they are not to be feared. I never thought that it was demon fruit power. Marine was a little worried, but Rosio Luosheng was very happy. Interesting. This is much more interesting than watching those damn slaves fight in the cage. I think it must be fun for them to be my slaves. You say so. As Rosio Luosheng said, he glanced back at the man in the black suit from the corner of his eye. The man in the black suit smiled slightly, and echoed, You are right, Lord Rosiero. At the same time, on Dean Riding's side, they did not sit still, but took the initiative to attack. Everyone, work. Dean Riding gave a soft snort and jumped up. Tu Shan Yaya followed closely behind. As for Ace Kano, he just raised his hand to summon Rita the Divine Axe, but at this moment, Rita the Divine Axe flew out and landed in Dean Riding's hand. Quote. Quote. So, That's my weapon. Dean writing. 29 Vulnerable, the disaster of celestial dragons seeking flowers. Ace Kano sighed slightly, complaining about it, but he didn't take it too seriously. After all, for him, it doesn't make much difference whether he has a weapon or not. Looking at Tushin Yaya and Dean Riding who were already in the battle ahead, Ace Kano didn't hesitate, he leapt forward and threw himself into the battlefield. This time, it was Marine Vice Admiral who escorted the celestial dragons. But, in the eyes of Tushin Yaya or Dean Riding and Ace Kano, it is obvious that Marine Vice Admiral has no ability to stop them. Of course, some people may say that Marine Vice Admiral is just a position, and strength is not linked to official positions. It is true to say so, but, not everyone is like Garp in the original book, who will refuse promotion opportunities in many places. Even if they exist, they are very few. Boom. Boom. In just a short moment, all the auxiliary ships sent by Marine were destroyed. Marine Vice Admiral was directly frozen by Tushin Yaya and sank into the sea. After seeing such a situation, the man in the black suit suddenly felt uneasy. He took a step forward and said in a respectful tone. Master Rosiero, the situation seems to be getting out of control, please go ahead and take shelter. When Rosiero Sheng heard this, his face suddenly became unhappy. But, yes, from childhood to adulthood, his life has been smooth sailing, he can do whatever he wants, and he will never go against his will. So, now that the man in the black suit asked him to go in and avoid it, he was naturally not happy. After all, in his eyes, he is a nobleman of the world. Just relying on the word, celestial dragons, makes pirates and others dare not act rashly. This time, he naturally thought so too. Luozi Luosheng turned around angrily, and grabbed the clothes of the man in the black suit with one hand. His anger was so great that his face became a little hideous. D, what are you talking about? Who am I? I am the celestial dragons, I am the noble of the world. The descendants of the creator. Who dares to disrespect me? Is it you? The man in the black suit suddenly panicked, waved his hands quickly, and explained, Lord Rosiolo, please calm down. Luozi Luosheng directly pushed away the man in the black suit, and then said angrily, I want those pariahs to die, and I want those pariahs to know what kind of price they will pay for taking action against the nobles of the world. Yes. The man in the black suit nodded slightly, and slightly waved his hands behind him, signaling to the people behind him to do something. However, at this time, Dean Riding and the others have arrived on the luxury ship. Tushin Yaya floated in midair. Dean Riding and Ace Kano are standing on the world government flagpole. Cautious Dean Riding looked around, in case there were still powerful people secretly protecting the celestial dragons. Damn untouchable, do you know who is standing next to me? The man in the black suit raised his head, staring at Dean Riding and the others. The reason why they were the first to speak out was because they wanted to directly reveal the identity of the celestial dragons, so as to frighten Dean Riding and the others. Such a pity. Advertisement. They think too much. The identity of celestial dragons can't deter Dean Riding and them at all. Although Dean Riding is both good and evil, he doesn't want to have too much involvement with the world government. If the celestial dragons hadn't pursued at first, Dean Riding wouldn't have bothered to go through this muddy water. But, now, celestial dragons wants Dean Riding them to be villains, so he will be villains. None of my business. Dean Riding retorted. Hehehehe. The man in the black suit laughed, mocking Dean Riding's ignorance. Untouchable, the ones standing next to me are world nobles, celestial dragons, once you offend, do you know what the consequences will be? Marine Admiral will definitely come to defend. Dean Riding didn't respond to him immediately, but returned the magic axe Rita in his hand to Ace Kano, spreading his hands and explaining, I'm really not used to using weapons, so I return it to you. As he spoke, he folded his hands on his chest, overlooking the man in the black suit below, his eyes were filled with coldness. So what? Unexpectedly, as soon as Dean Riding said this, the man in the black suit laughed again. Ha 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 ha, ignorance. What an ignorant pariah, but also, a pariah in the mountains and countryside, how would you know it would be? Shua. Sounded. Before the man in the black suit finished speaking, an axe directly split his head in half. Blood exploded and sprayed everywhere. Then, a cold voice came from beside Dean Riding. I don't allow you to slander Dean Riding like this. And because of Ace Kano's movement, other men in black suits surrounded Rosio Luosheng one after another. Untouchables. Untouchable, how dare you defy me? You dare to defy me. I am celestial dragons. I am a world noble, a descendant of the creator. A mere pariah, how dare you? Dean Riding listened to his words, the veins on his forehead were bulging, and he couldn't help but swear. Oh my god, your mother, then I'll see if Marine Admiral is faster or me, Ace Kano. Okay, I see, Ace Kano responded, then leapt forward and fell down. That pig with the hood, let me save his life. Looking at the back of Ace Kano, Dean Riding ordered. 30 Windfall, Devil Fruit, ask for flowers. As for Rosio Luosheng, since childhood, no one has ever dared to disobey him. And Dean Riding didn't go his way from the very beginning, and now, his anger value has exploded. I can't wait to blow the heads of Dean Riding and Ace Kano with a gun. Go up to me, kill all these untouchables. Yes, Lord Rosiero, although I said so, the result was very cruel. Those sent by the world government were less than half of Ace Kano. It didn't take a while for him to be killed by Ace Kano. Just as Dean Riding was about to land, suddenly at this moment, the marine who came from the other two marine warships had already boarded the luxury ship. Forget it, let's get rid of these annoying flies. As soon as Dean Riding finished speaking, Tushan Yaya's voice came from the side. Go do what you want, these people, just leave it to me. After finishing speaking, Tushan Yaya drifted towards the group of marines. Alright, save me an extra trip. Dean Riding withdrew his gaze and put it on Rosiero Sheng. At this time, he had been cornered by Ace Kano, trembling all over. However, the mouth is still chattering all the time. You damn untouchable, you dare to disobey me, I am Celestial Dragons. Rosiero-san shouted in horror. Ace Kano looked at him blankly, if Dean Riding hadn't told him not to kill this guy. I'm afraid that his axe has already slashed countless times on Rosiero Sheng's body. Dean Riding, this annoying guy is in your hands. I can't take it anymore. I'll go and clean up the rest of the guys. After all, Ace Kano didn't wait for Dean Riding to make a sound, he jumped and left here. As for Dean Riding, he also jumped up and came to the position where Ace Kano was standing just now. I'm Celestial Dragons. You ignorant pariah. Tisk tisk tisk. Next, pay the price for everything you've done now. Luozi Luosheng probably was too scared, the expression on his face seemed a smile is not a smile, but a cry is not a cry. Dean Riding looked at him blankly, then slowly lowered his body, and said in a deep voice, yes, you are right, now, say what you just said 10,000 times. Upon hearing this, Rosiero Sheng was stunned for a moment, and then roared angrily, you be asterisk 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 D, how dare you order me? As soon as the words were finished, Dean Riding slapped him without saying a word, and the bubble hood worn by Saint Rosiolo exploded instantly. Crack, sounded. The teeth spit out directly from his mouth, followed by blood overflowing from the corner of his mouth unstoppably. Wrong, it's not this sentence. Untouchable. Crack, sounded. Another slap. This slap directly made his brain buzz, and he spit out his disappointing teeth again. Advertisement. It's wrong again. Dean Riding looked at him, letting out an amiable smile. He can kill this celestial dragons instantly. But if he really did this, it would be too cheap for him. He liked talking so much, Dean Riding decided, let him talk. Next time I say something wrong, I'll break one of your fingers and give you a slap. You should think about it clearly. Cheap. Before the word min could be spoken, Dean Riding's hand had already been raised, and it was almost left behind. Luju Luosheng was speechless immediately, and an unknown liquid flowed out from his crotch. Dean Riding looked, his face was covered with black lines. Forget it, I'm tired of playing, next time I make a mistake, I'll kill you directly, so let's start now. Looking at Dean Riding's firm eyes, Rosio Luosheng was completely scared. The ninja suppressed the fear in his heart, and then recalled what he said just now. I'm Celestial Dragons. You ignorant pariah. Tisk tisk tisk. Next, pay the price for everything you've done now. I'm Celestial Dragons. You ignorant pariah. Tisk tisk tisk. Next, pay the price for everything you've done now. ... Seeing Luozi Luosheng obeyed obediently, Dean Riding leaked an amiable smile again, and then said with a smile. That's right, keep shouting until you finish shouting 10,000 times, otherwise, I will directly kill you. After leaving these words, Dean Riding straightened his body, and then turned around. For celestial dragons, he doesn't really have much interest. However, he felt that the supplies of a celestial dragons must be very fat. Leaving Rosiero-san sitting trembling in the corner alone, Dean Riding walked towards the interior of the luxury ship. Looking at the extremely luxurious interior, Dean Riding sighed softly. I really enjoy it, why do you say you are doing this? You must court death. With a grunt, Dean Riding moved on. After a while, it was exactly as he thought. Celestial dragons are celestial dragons, and all the supplies on board are of the highest quality. Dean Riding rummages through the boxes here while eating his snacks. His luck was not bad, and after a while, he saw the devil fruit that Rosiero-san was preparing to feed his slaves. Tisk tisk tisk. It seems that this trip was not in vain, but there is still an unexpected surprise. Without hesitation, Dean Riding quickened his pace and came in front of devil fruit.